Hey, everybody. We have just been having way too much fun talking about our characters and their interconnections and all that stuff. And then I looked down and I'm like, oh, folks are waiting. So thanks, Sin and Morrow. And did Juice come in? I can't believe it. Hey, Kelly and Hatter and SJ and Govan. It's really good to see everybody. Juice, I'm sure, is just here to judge, but that's fine. I know I went live with the D&D stuff. I know all that. But as usual, if I or any of the players sound really loud or really soft, let me know. So we are today playing Masks, a new generation. It is a Powered by the Apocalypse game, which means it's very different than some of the games that we normally play, like D&D. There's not as much die rolling. There are no hit points. There's no armor class. There are no weapon stats. There is just narrative moves that you make and relationship things that happen and deep, dark secrets that get revealed and lots of trauma, frankly. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But before we go into the actual game, let's do our round robin and introduce the players. So if you would just tell everyone who you are, where people can find you, and maybe just a few words about the character that you're playing. Let's go with Tough, and we'll work our way around this way.
Yes, hello. I am 98 Tough Love. I'm a variety streamer on Twitch. You can find me at twitch.tv/98 Tough Love. I'm also on Twitter at the same handle. I got locked out of my Instagram, so I don't have that anymore, but good enough. I am playing Spectre, who is a scion, aka a kid, someone who is a kid of a villain, but is trying not to be a villain. Her name is Val Hudson, and yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be good.
Beautiful. And Mish.
Hi, I'm Misha. You can find me on Twitter if you want to at Misha Weya, is my Twitter handle. I don't stream. I just mod for this guy called Justice TV. You might have heard of him.
I hear he's the worst.
It could very well be. In this game, I'm going to be playing
friend on the internet.
No, he's our best friend on the internet. It's fine.
I'm going to be playing a Tilly, TLDR or Tilder, who is a newborn archetype, which basically means I'm a cool teenage robot who doesn't know anything about what you humans are about, but I'm going to do my best at being a superhero.
Perfect. Awesome. Rachie.
Hello, I'm Rachie H. I am sorry, I'm just checking that I was unmuted. I am a variety streamer. However, currently I have actually taken a little bit of a break from streaming because I've not been well and I'm trying to get better. And I'm also trying to make a lot of changes to my stream and I want to take time out to do that. So I will be back. And meanwhile, I'm here. But yeah, I'm a variety streamer. I am playing a star. I'm playing the star, according to the playbook. And her name is Isla Isaac or Lala or... Yeah, I forgot.
Resonance. It's on screen.
I know, but you know when you like...
Oh, yeah.
My dyslexia took over for a second and I was like, oh shit, I forgot how to say that word. And dyslexia was just like, haha, I'm going to show you up on screen right now. So yeah, also resonance.
Yeah.
Wicked. I'll be quiet now. Bye.
Zodi.
Hello, I am the original Zodi. You can find me over at twitch.tv/the original Zodi. I've been on sabbatical for the longest time because internet went to crap when I was in my old place, but we're hoping to get back up into it soon. I play Ren Harper, also known as Paradigm. She is from the future, and that's really all I can give. She's bright and perky and bubbly and chipper, and things are gonna happen for reasons. And I'm gonna toss it up to SJ.
Perfect.
SJ_sidekick. So I'm SJ_sidekick everywhere unless the website doesn't let you have an underscore, in which case it's just SJ sidekick. I don't stream on Twitch. I always say I'm going to, but I've been saying that for 3 years, so I wouldn't believe me. My character is Devin's work. So Devin is, go figure, a sidekick. So she had a mentor named Impact. And my character's code name is Impasse because I have the ability of power mimicry. So anything someone else can do, I can also do, putting us at an impasse.
Oh,
That's it.
I like that. Awesome. And I am Zero Daylight or Zero or Michael or GM or DM or narrator or, who cares? I run silly games with silly people and also super awesome people like these. You can find me here and there. You can find me on Duck's channel on the Mondays and sometimes Wednesdays, or we're switching around, where I actually get to play. And then you can find me here writing a bunch of one-offs and short series. And then starting, I think, next Sunday, you can find me back at Juices TV and Lissa T on Twitch as we pick up season 2 of our main D&D campaign. So lots of irons in the fire. So starting out by saying this is Masks is a Powered by the Apocalypse game. There's a bunch of different hacks of the apocalypse world system. You heard all the players kind of mention their playbooks. If you're familiar with our D&D content, or if you play D&D, think of a playbook kind of like a class, but it's a lot simpler and it's much more about the themes. And they're all superheroes, so they all have powers, but the powers are also narrative. There's no stats. They just picked themes that made sense, and we'll find out what they're able to accomplish with their powers. And there aren't, like I said, there aren't weapons or things. There's the concept of the move. When you are doing something and you're affecting reality, whether it's another character or it's a high stakes combat thing, or you're affecting yourself or you're stretching yourself, there is a role. Each of the characters has a set of labels that represent how they view themselves and are also related to how the world views them. So, for example, everyone has a value in their danger label. Danger is how tough you are, how likely you are to just get up in someone's face and to get into a brawl, physically and or emotionally. So, if you are trying to directly confront something dangerous and risky, you're going to roll with danger, which just means you take 2d6 and add whatever value, or subtract if you have a negative. And then your moves will tell you what happens based on the score. High is good. Generally 10 plus is like a full success. You get to pick a couple of different outcomes. 7 to 9 is generally like you succeeded, but maybe not quite as great as it could have been. Or maybe there's a few drawbacks. And below that is a miss. And usually there's a negative consequence that I get to impose if you fail. However, every time you fail, you will mark potential. Potential is like experience. And if you hit 5 potential, you get to do some stuff as determined by your playbook, like maybe add another move or change one of your labels, etc. So we will figure that out if and when we get to it. Anything else that we need to know? There is one move that if we get in conflict, whether it be physical or emotional or social, you might have to take, and that move is called Take a Powerful Blow. That is to see how good you are at staving off or ignoring either getting smashed in the face by like a giant robot, no offense, Mish, or dealing with someone revealing some secret to you that's emotionally really impactful. That is one where you roll plus your conditions as opposed to one of your stats. Your conditions are things like I'm afraid or I feel insecure or whatever. So that one you want to roll low. So if you start to accumulate conditions, you're going to want to use some of your moves to try to get rid of those conditions. Because if you have a bunch of conditions, not only are you angry and insecure and all that kind and hopeless and all those things, and those have negatives to some of your checks, but it means that next time you get smacked in the face, you might just roll high on that one, and that might take you out. Heroes don't die, typically, unless the narrative calls for it. That's why you don't have hit points. Heroes almost always succeed. However, because it's a comic book, Heroes almost always succeed with complications. Also, the bad guys don't get beaten until they die. They get beaten until they run away to fight another day, because there's always the next issue to come out. And there's always the long thought defeated nemesis that's going to come back. So everything you know about comics, which for me is not a lot, play into those tropes, because that's really what the game is about. So for the very first part of this game, we're going to be building parts of the world together. The players have already done a lot of work to complete their playbooks, but some of this is collaborative. And we thought it would be fun because it's actually part of the story. It also makes it easy for me because I don't have to come up with all the details, because it's up to you guys to help define the world that you're going to be playing in. So let's take a look at, and I'm going to pick on SJ first this time. So sorry, I knew you thought you were safe based on where we started last time. So SJ, you are Devin Dvorak.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about your powers and how they compare to the powers of Impact, your mentor.
So my mentor doesn't have any powers. He relies on, he's kind of a Batman-esque type, right? So impossible fighting skills, more on gadgets and just fighting and instilling fear type deal. Whereas I have powers, so I don't have, because it calls for you to differ from your mentor slightly. So what he has is the fear and intimidation piece. Me as a teen, I don't really have that. And then for the power mimicry, so somebody else has a power like the power to fly. If I'm in a close enough proximity, I can also fly.
Yep.
I also share impossible fighting skills with him, because his biggest thing is you should never just rely on your powers, because one, if there's not somebody near me that also has powers, I don't have powers.
Yes.
Essentially. So.
And now Impact has a somewhat different philosophy from many superheroes, right? Particularly when it comes to killing. So talk a little bit about that.
The no-kill rule is out. So my mentor sees the no-kill rule as incredibly irresponsible and a misguided sense of moral justice. So just like cops and police have the moral obligation to kill when it calls for it, that's how our superheroes operate as well. Is if the kill is necessary, we're not going to put somebody else in danger just to hold back on that villain. They've lost their right at that point.
Yep. Or at least that's the philosophy that he promotes. And that is, I will say, uncommon among most successful heroes. So that might come up in the story a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about how you first came in contact with the team. So you had some sort of encounter with each other, right? And I know you've got some thoughts here, but tell us a little bit more about how you think Impasse first encountered the team.
I think out of everybody, I probably would have met or known of Resonance first, just because of her publicity. She'd be similar in age in me, so I'd be, she'd be the first on my radar probably, for sure. I know for Tilly, so the newborn, we meet her like going in, according to her backstory. Yep. So at that point, part of the team's already formed.
Yep.
I know I put for mine, as long as it's okay with Spectre, that my mentor wants to keep an eye on Spectre specifically, given her heritage and her parentage. So, enemies close or friends close, enemies closer. That could be a way that I maybe pulled her into the team, wanting to keep a closer eye on her. And then Paradigm, I'm not really sure when she would come into play, but if my mentor ever found out, hey, this person came from the future and knows the future, he's gonna want to have that involved as well and figure out what the heck's going on, what they know.
Yeah. And your mentor also kind of wants to influence this up and coming group of heroes to align with his sort of views on the best way to take care of the villain. So you have a little bit of an agenda. Well, your mentor has an agenda and you have assignments. You are, of course, your own person and can make your own judgments, but certainly you have you have been trained and brought up in a very particular kind of philosophy about being a hero. Let's see, anything else? If you will look at, I probably should have this open. If you will look at your playbook, there is a section on influence. Here it is. It is under relationships. So on our shared sheet, it's rows 55 and 56. And so you have already said that you and Resonance have teamed up a few times beforehand, because she's pretty visible as the star. And that she is someone that I believe, read your playbook and let me know if that also provides her with influence over you. I think it may. I should probably open these up too, huh?
Does not say on the one I'm looking at.
All right, so let me scroll down. We'll figure it out. I'll pull them up later, so we can do that last. So anything else? Oh yes. So your mentor has provided you with a base of operations. So tell us a little bit about the base. Does it have a name? Where is it? Is it connected in any way to your mentor's base? Like, is it like the basement of the Bat Cave? Is it something separate?
It's probably separate because he doesn't trust certain members of the team. So it would be located not too far, but probably within distance of probably just outside the city.
Okay, cool. And I'm going to say, since you all operate together, that is probably your default base as well. So think about, if you haven't already decided, what advantages you want or resources you want the base to represent. Like, does it come with a car? Since not all of you can fly, for example. Does it come with robot servants? I mean, that'd be kind of cool, but a little bit awkward with Tilly. So think about, you don't have to decide right now, but before we actually start, just have a good idea. And you can certainly ask your fellow teammates if there's any particular resource that makes sense. But we do want to pick that first. So, hey, yo, Zodi. Zodi's having fun with the sixth team member, the super dog. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about Paradigm and Paradigm's relationships with others and backstory?
So I haven't really thought how she is interacting with everybody else. An accident happened in her time, which led to her being brought back to the team's time. She showed up one day and said, "Hi, how's it going? I'm Paradigm. I'm from high school." Yeah, that's what she went with, because who's gonna sit there and say, "Oh yeah, I just showed up from the future"? No, she just accidentally landed there and said, "What's going on? I'm a superhero, just like you guys.
Yes.
I want in. I have an agenda. I have things I need to stop."
Yes. So the interesting thing about the Harbinger is that you are from the future, and the future is not a nice place. Something
it is most definitely not a nice place.
Something has gone terribly, terribly wrong, but something about the accident or the process of traveling through time has scrambled your memories. So you have memories, but you can't always rely on them being true. So a lot of your journey is trying to piece together what actually went wrong and trying to connect that with people currently. You know that there are things happening right now in the present that will precipitate whatever kind of apocalyptic event made the future so unpleasant. But you're not quite sure who all the players are, and you're not quite sure what needs to happen to prevent it. It's that whole time traveler paradox of anything you try to do to prevent it might actually cause it. So play into that piece.
Yep, and to avoid the whole, well, what happens if you see yourself? My girl doesn't have to worry about that because it made her from far enough in the future that she doesn't exist in the past. Everything she reads about, or has read about regarding her current teammates are essentially history books.
Yep.
She's big in. Hi. You want to say
Oh,
hi? Hi.
hi.
All right, you gotta go. I'm doing stuff. Thank you. Bye bye. But yeah, I've made it so that she knows these people through text rather than actually knows them. So
Yep.
she'll be able to tell, Resonance was a huge TV star growing up. She probably watched them. Does she remember any of these? Maybe, and they're probably fuzzy. She's probably got them mixed up with like lamb chop or something. Um, um, she's gonna understand that Tilder is newly assembled here, but in the future could be like this total badass of working
Yeah.
machinery that could have been the reason why she ended up having to come back in the first place.
It's quite possible. And of course, there's multiverses, and you don't know if you're in the past of your
Yep.
existing universe or in some other universe. So there's all kinds of questions. So part of your journey is figuring that out. But the very
Yep.
presence of a harbinger on the team means that there is an apocalypse in the future, which has to be part of the story. Cool. Hey, Lala, and whoever's got voices in the back, if you'd mute yourself. Perfect. Lala, tell us about yourself.
Hi, it's girl Lala.
Yes. So have you always been famous?
Pretty much since I was 11.
Oh, okay. So, and were you on, so you were on a children's show at age 11 because your mom kind of pushed you into it.
Yeah.
Was it explicitly because of your superpowers, or did you know you had superpowers at that point?
No. So I was a quote unquote normal child, who, just happened to also have a lot of musical ability. So I was on like a kids TV show where we dance and act and sing, and then that, a bit like, well, I can't say for viewers, a bit like the Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's Mickey Moose in this
and
universe,
yeah,
and,
Mickey
and it's
Mouse,
it's
Mickey Mouse.
Dalt Wisney. So you were on a
Mhm.
Wisney kids show. Got it.
Yeah, and then that developed into me getting my own show, which was called Life is Lala. Which again for chat, that's a bit like Hannah Montana.
Perfect.
And then from then I started to have a pop career, and basically everyone knows, so it's, I don't really need to tell you because everyone knows, but basically there was an accident that happened during a sound check where there was a power surge, and the power of the electricity surged through all the electrics on stage into my microphone, raised me up, and then the speakers blasted me. And from then on, I've been able to control electricity and sound.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Awesome. So, who who is someone who outside of the team who really admires and cares about and promotes your fame? Is it just your mom, or is there someone else, like
I
a
mean,
agent or?
obviously I've got lots of fans, but also my mother has been very much in control of my career my whole life, has been very pushy to, was very happy when I became a TV star, and then was even happier when I got powers and therefore had another route in fame. And then, yes, I have a PR. I have PR and a manager. So they're very much involved in my career, shall we say.
Yep. And who is someone who really dislikes you and everything you represent?
I mean, I try not to talk about her as much as possible because, like, she's just, ugh, but okay. So you may have heard of, but she's kind of in the back of everyone's minds now. You may have heard of Lucy Lawson, who was also on the original show with me, and she never quite reached the same level of fame and stuff as I did. And so she's always been a little bit resentful. And then since then, when I got my powers, she became even worse and has kind of turned her whole back on like the fame and like talks about people, you know, she's just really rude about the whole thing. Like, does it cause people like fame hungry and, you know, all this kind of thing. And yeah, she's just a bit rude, man.
Yep. So of your teammates, who do you think, and you might not ever express this or even really admit it to yourself, but who of all of your teammates do you think might have the potential to be even bigger star than you someday?
I think that's a difficult question.
Because it's not me.
It's probably not the robot. I'm just guessing.
I mean,
you're
like
huge in
robots.
Japan.
Yeah. I mean, I'm guessing that if I had to say someone, I would maybe say Spectre, because obviously it's Spectre that's got the villainous background, right?
Right.
Yes.
It's a redemption
So-
story. People eat that stuff up. She's kind of a bad
Yeah,
girl.
so,
Yeah.
like, everyone's always keeping their eye on her because it's a bit like, you know, is this real, or is she going to turn out like her mom, who we
Yeah.
all know and love
Yep.
to hate? So, you know, she has that story arc going for her, which obviously I don't. So everyone likes a good changeling, shall we say?
Yep.
So yeah, possibly.
Awesome. Cool. And someone on the team you think would make a really great sidekick. You know, like if you're the star of the show, this is someone who would be like good comic relief or whatever. Who do you think that would be?
Well, I'm torn right now between Impasse and how do I say TLDR? Is it just Tilda?
Yeah, to say Tilda. It's much easier that way.
Yeah.
I thought so. I thought it was, or Tilda, because I mean, again, Tilda is a robot, pretty cool. But also Impasse is already a sidekick, so that's kind of already understands what it is to be in that position.
Yeah, but Impasse also already has a mentor.
But they're not as good as me.
Okay. Well, and you can change your mind about this, but as we start the beginning, you know, the first splash page of issue 1, who do you think you're considering as in the running to be your sidekick? Which of those two?
I'm gonna go for SJ.
Okay, cool. So your goal is to say
SJ. I meant
yeah.
Impasse. I wrote SJ.
Cool.
It's
So
easier to type.
Yep. So you're thinking it's like, well, you know, Impact is like old and doesn't even have any powers. And it's like, wouldn't it be nice if Impasse could like literally copy you, because Impasse could literally copy you. It seems like that's a good so you're trying to influence Impasse and Impasse is trying to influence you. Perfect. All right, I think we have covered all the stuff. Let me go over to my special notes and see if there was anything specific for you. We've got that. We've got that. What is the name of the local media organization in Halcyon City? This kind of Eastern
That's what
Seaboard
I was
U.S.
I'm struggling to find it. It's called I just wrote the Halcyon Herald and its subsidiaries. However you
Okay.
say that.
So,
'Cause I know it's got like a gossip mag and all that kind of thing that goes with
yes.
it. And why does it support us?
Yep.
Is that the other question? Why does it support us? Because we provide it and its subsidiaries with so much story. Because obviously, with me being who I am, it gives a lot of the gossip mag its
Yep.
content, and then we provide hard-hitting stories for the actual Herald itself.
Yep.
So we provide so much content for it that it tries to be our support network rather than to slander us, because if we turned against it, we could influence other media outlets and not help themselves. Newspapers, which are going out of date nowadays.
Right. And they're making the transition to digital, so it's a lot of this is their life and time superhero events in the city, kind of intrepid freelance reporter stuff. And I would say you probably have a few fans and maybe some detractors among the reporters, but everyone knows, because you have a following, that one of the ways that they can up their clicks is to feature something with you and the team, usually in a positive light. Awesome. Cool. And final question for you is there a hero, an adult established hero, that you either idolize and want to be like because they also have a lot of fame? Maybe they have more Twitter followers than you do. Maybe they're kind of like where you want to be, and or you resent them and think they don't deserve it, and you're going to come and take their crown.
Definitely no in the resentful part. I don't really resent people for their fame, and because I feel that everyone earns their fame.
Yep.
In their own way, regardless of what maybe some people think of it. I feel that you earn it yourself. So I would never envy someone for their earned fame.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think. Who do I idolize? I think I like I'm just reading one of the things to try and get a name of it.
And you can make it up, or you can tell me to make it up.
I'm gonna read one that's in the Halcyon
That works.
playbook thing. I quite like Lady December.
Okay.
Because I think she's classy.
Mm-hmm.
She always holds herself well, and she has a lot of poise, and also, she can make everything look like Christmas.
So Lady December, because she is classy and famous, but kind of effortlessly so. She keeps it real.
Yes.
Yep. And probably makes a bunch of money and has a lot of public speaking events, etc.
She has her own snow globe line.
So she is the queen of merch.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Awesome. All right. Cool. And then I'll look up the influence stuff. So Tilly or Tilder, let's think a little bit about and review a little bit and talk a little bit more about where you came from. So you have been newly created, right? So tell us a little bit about the person and the company behind your creation.
So the company is Light Tech Industries, which is mainly a government contractor, and they make a variety of, let's be honest, military-based things or other things of the general usage, but what if they were also weapons? As you do when you're a government contractor.
Yeah.
And one of their products is the Tactical Light Defense Robot, the TLDR. I thought really hard about how to make that work. which they have a few of these prototypes around. There are other robots that maybe don't look like Tilder specifically, but like this is a thing if you are aware of cool robots that are made by government contractors, you're aware of them. But this one in particular, Tilder was created with enhanced AI by one Dr. Colifer, sorry. Yeah, that's also going to happen. That's fine. Colifer.
She hated it as a kid.
The company was trying to integrate smarter tech into their existing product line, and Dr. Colifer is one of the premier AI scientists who worked very hard, pretty much created all the things to make Tilder work pretty much like an actual person, even though she's definitely a robot.
Yep. And I have made some decisions about some fun secrets and stuff about about your origin and stuff like that. But so your current relationship with Dr. Colifer, is she like a mentor? Is she like a mom?
I think like a mom.
Okay.
I don't think, like, this is, as a robot, you're like, okay, well, that's fine. But if you're going to go talk to somebody like Tilder, when not at the base with the team, is probably either at a facility of Light Tech Industries in a place like basically Dr. Colifer's lab, or maybe at Dr. Colifer's home from time to time as well, depending on, where they are. Just to make sure she has the latest upgrades, all the systems are working correctly, etc.
I'm going to say Dr. Colifer has a lab in her home, kind of in the suburbs, but nearish to downtown in a quite prosperous neighborhood. So while certainly there are more fully outfitted labs at the headquarters of Lytech, you often meet at Dr. Colifer's home. And she has retrofitted parts of her basement to make sure that, like, if you need to be charged or need diagnostics and testing, stuff like that, because you are, although you are technically property of Lytech Industries, she has leveraged some of her social capital to basically be the head of the little project that is you. So yeah. Cool. What else do we need to know about you? Let's see. We have, talk a little bit about your powers and how they work and like what they look like and
the powers. So first of all Tilder units are made with a similar metal constructed body. It's super durable and very strong. So that's just baseline features there. Some of them, not all of them, have the solid light projection system, copyright trademarked of Light Tech Industries. This makes solid light. I'm a little loosey-goosey on what that means exactly, but you can create things or objects or whatever out of light. Tilder specifically can project from her hands to create solid light objects, and these ones can definitely be detailed. She can manipulate them with her fingers and stuff like that. If you need to make something complicated, she would use her hands. She also has access to it from her feet, so that way she can create solid light platforms or other things to create large boosts of energy to lift off and basically do super jumps and what have you.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, and it's like we said, the powers are kind of narrative. This could be like Green Lantern, where you can do almost anything. It could be limited. It's really up to you in the moment, and you're all kind of just discovering your powers. What is it that has you fascinated by people?
All right. People eat food. Like, they don't go to a charging station. They drink stuff. They eat stuff. There's a lot of sitting down at the dinner table and going out for coffee and stuff. And that's just interesting to Tilder because she cannot eat food. It'd gum up the whole system. So she might be watching you while eating.
And do you, so as you're trying out, and kind of copying and learning about the rituals that humans have, do you do things like, ask people to go out to coffee, or do you just show up at people's houses at dinner time to stand in the corner and watch? Like, how do you try to get more experience of this process and these rituals?
I think it definitely just involved showing up randomly at one of the teammates' house being like, "Hello, I heard you're about to consume dinner items. I wish to watch," which probably wasn't great for everybody. And I'm sure an awkward coffee date has happened where what do you want? I will take a cup of hot water. Thank you.
Right? Awesome. Cool. So let's see. And you actually have already done the influence piece because you are so open and receptive and want to learn. Everyone has influence over you. And I think you've already added that into their character sheets.
I
So
have done so.
that is perfect. All right. So, Spectre, let's talk about your mom.
Yeah, my mom. What a great person.
So, she is named.
Violet Scepter. So my name is actually kind of a mix around of hers, but I dropped the Violet because, too cool for that. She doesn't actually have any powers. She is a bit more like Impact in that she relies on gadgetry and martial fighting skills, which she passed the martial fighting skills down onto me, but also inherited regenerative abilities, which don't come from her, and I don't know where they come from, because I don't know my father.
Yes. And you also don't know what kind of weird experiments might have been going on.
I bet you I know who your daddy is.
You might, but you can't quite remember. So was Violet Spectre a member of Venom, the world's largest and most well-known supervillain association? Was she an independent contractor? Did she have a crew of her own?
So she's very independent. She strikes out more on her own. She will occasionally bring other people in on the job, promises of money, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But if they die, they die.
Right.
She actually used to bring me along on some of these missions. It was more like, okay, kid, go keep an eye out while mommy does business, which, I thought it was really cool. But yeah, so she was definitely a more independent rather than part of an organization. She doesn't quite like the concept of being part of a group that can tell her what she can or can't do.
Yes. I will say, however, she did have someone, a villain that she may not have been close to, but at least in the public's eye, she was at times associated with, like maybe they collaborated on a really huge heist or some other kind of very public active villainy and is associated in the mind of the common person with her. Who, just off the top of your head, who do you think that Violet Scepter would partner with more than once, or at least get that reputation for having partnered with?
So I maybe don't know the name, but I think that she would partner with somebody that had powers that would really benefit her more than likely than not. I think she'd go with someone that could teleport in some way or another.
Okay.
Just to get in, get out, because she's definitely more heisty sort of person, steal the goodies, the gadgets, all of the new tech, so on and so forth.
Beautiful, beautiful. Let's call this person like the Silver Shade or something. So they wear like a silver mask, but they have lots of like shadow and teleportation powers, so they can hide themselves and they can move around. Very good at sneaking and stealing and things like that. Okay. Unless you have a different idea.
Oh, that works.
And is it a man or a woman?
It'd be a man.
Okay. So I will say that the Silver Shade is a well-known reformed villain. So your mom got away with it, but he didn't. He actually got captured, and maybe because people were more concerned about him because he does have powers. So a super team took him down. He spent some time locked up in maximum security, but for years now has been a paragon of society, an upstanding citizen, a philanthropist, not really known for using his powers at all. And has written a couple of autobiographies, like telling the story from his side, and like his powers influenced his mind. So he basically decided not to use them. And since then has gone straight and has tried and largely succeeded in making up for all the things and has become quite wealthy. and supports orphanages and after-school programs, and is one of the success stories of the kind of reformed villain arc. But you probably have memories of this very, very creepy man with a silver mask and like tendrils of shadow coming out from beneath it and just finding him super terrifying. So you may not necessarily trust that the transformation is accurate, but at least in the public's eye, he has been reformed. Beautiful. And you have a close connection with like an ordinary person, right?
Yes, my former piano teacher.
What is their name?
Her name is Justine. What's her last name? Justine Jenkins. I called her JJ.
Okay.
And yeah, she's kind of the person that I always turn to outside of my mother, because she was kind of the only other person that I considered family. But she left us several years ago, about when my mom started dragging me into her heist plans. So it was more I would sneak over there like after school or whatever and hang out for a couple of hours and then go back home.
Got it. And was she like a source of normalcy in your life, or what I assume that you have maintained contact because she's still important in your
Yes.
life. Why is it that you have reconnected and maintained contact with her?
So I actually wasn't always very aware that my mom was a bad guy. I thought that she was doing good things, the way that she would talk about it. I was very convinced that she was doing what was right. However, the first time that we actually went out on a genuine mission together where I wasn't just playing lookout, but I was actually getting to use my abilities, I kind of realized that, hey, mom's actually kind of a bad person.
Yep.
So I wound up going to JJ and asking her for help to get away from my mother, because I didn't want to be a part of that anymore and I wanted to reform myself into something better.
Beautiful.
So JJ's kind of my home now.
And JJ went out of her way to saw in you someone who could go either way, and went out of the way to rescue you from a bad situation. Is your mom still around? And if so, is she in any contact with you?
I have attempted to sever pretty much all contact from her. She still attempts to contact me for sure, and she is definitely still in the city. I'm very aware of her antics, and I don't like it, but I can't really distance myself from the family name, so...
Yep. All right, so someone on the team is someone who really is the only one who understands what you're going through, right? You told them which part of you that you wished was more like your mom. Like, because your mom is not a good person. She's done bad things, but she's also super capable. And, there's a reason why she's been so successful as a villain. So who have you shared that with?
I think the person that I would have been most likely to share that with would have actually been Tilly, just because Tilly is also kind of new to this whole thing like I am, and I'd feel a little less intimidated talking to like a robot that really has no idea what's going on versus
Yep.
someone like Impasse who would be like, what the hell, you're a terrible person. So,
And Tilly probably just asked the question really bluntly, like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you have a parent who is a villain. Does that mean that you hate every piece of them, or is there part of them you admire?" Because Tilly's trying to figure out the relationships and how people view each other.
I have a little spreadsheet that I keep up to date.
Right? Just a little mind map. Perfect. So Violet Scepter once fought and badly injured or damaged emotionally or reputation or something, did bad to someone. Could be a hero, could be a regular person, but someone has been wronged by your mother, and you feel in some way obligated to make up for it, whether it's because the harm was extreme or unusual, or just because it's one that it's common, but it's just stuck in your head. If for some reason you were very empathetic about the situation. So who is that person that you feel like maybe you owe some reparations to?
So if Impasse is okay with this, I think Impact would probably be the person. So me joining the team and fighting the good fight is kind of my way of trying to make it up.
Love it. That's perfect. So, and I'm looking at and we'll do one more round to get the influence right. So, look, the fact is this team of young, up and coming, some weirder than others, some of them are displaced in time, some of them are newborn robots, right? So it's a little bit of a ragtag group, but you realize, I think, that working with this team is a way that you can differentiate yourself. This is really your path to proving that you're different than Violet Scepter. But you inherited your mom's independent streak, right? You don't want to be defined. You don't want to be a hanger-on. You don't want to have like the matching costumes, or any of that stuff. You realize to differentiate yourself as someone who's not your mom, you also can't just be a copycat or a hanger-on. So you will give influence to 2 of your teammates. So who do you think on the team, and by influence, I mean you care about how they view you. And like when they tell you how they view you, you take that to heart. Like, so who in the team, if they said you're being too aggressive, would you be like, let me think about it. I might not agree. I might not accept it, but you would pay attention to their view of you and kind of do a little bit of inward searching if they told you you're being too aggressive or you're not doing what you should be doing or you should do more of this if you really want to be successful.
I think Resonance, I would definitely listen to her because she is, famous and she's kind of been doing this a little bit. So she's used to the public eye and she knows how people perceive you. So I would want to follow her advice very, very much.
Perfect.
And then the other person would probably be Impasse just because of my history with her mentor and also knowing that she has kind of that background as well of fighting the good fight that I want to try to personify.
Makes perfect sense. So if you would put your name in the I have influence over section for Impasse and Resonance, just so that, or you guys actually make it easier. So Resonance and Impasse add Spectre in the I have influence over column, just so we can keep track of it. So because I have it open, let's talk to, because I'm always doing it when she's distracted. So Paradigm, as the Harbinger, someone, according to your recollections, according to what you remember of the history books, someone on your team turns away from the path of the hero. Who is that person?
That is going to be Resonance.
Ooh, interesting. So not who you would expect. So something happens later in Resonance's career. Beautiful, beautiful. But I'm going to say you don't remember precisely what, but that is a recollection that you have. As soon as you meet Resonance, you go, "Oh, this is the person."
It's well written in the history books that something happens to Resonance where she kind of snaps and she does kind of like Black Canary's canary cry, but amplified, and it affects the entire city. And that is what is going to trigger the stolen directly from X-Men, because I love comics.
Yep.
It's going to trigger the Metahuman Reformation Act, which is where, the Registration Act, where metahumans, the supers, have to register. They have to tell the entire world, government officials, this is who I am, these are what my powers are, this is my secret identity. So there's no longer any secrets. And it's all Resonance's fault.
Yep. And whether you have revealed that or not is up to you, but that's good to know. Who on your team have you always idolized but feel like it's a little bit awkward to admit it now that you've met them? So you're like more focused on keeping it cool?
Spectre. For sure, Spectre.
Okay. Awesome. So Because every member of the team has the potential to influence the future outcome, everyone gets gets influence over you. So Spectre, Tilda, Resonance, and Impasse, if you would add Paradigm in the I have influence over section. And then at the end, you can look and see who has influence over you and fill it out. So cool. That gets us those two. Tilda is done. Resonance as the star. I think you're in the core playbooks. I unfortunately don't have all of nope. You are in Halcyon City Herald. FYI, there's been a bunch of splat books and cool stuff that's come out. So unfortunately, it's not a single PDF. Yes, okay. I'm looking at it right now. We already covered the person who you think might be a bigger star and who you think might be a good sidekick for you. So tell me how you view the team. Do you view the team as a means to an end, or do you think of the team as something that's worthwhile on its own?
I view
That's
the team
me?
as-
Yep,
Is that
Resonance.
me?
Yes,
Okay.
Resonance.
Something that is worthwhile on its own.
Okay, cool. So you choose 3 of your teammates to give influence to. So who on the team do you really pay attention to when they tell you about yourself? Like who could check you when you're getting a little bit big-headed or kind of losing focus, or who really influences the way you view yourself?
I think definitely Tilda, because I think she would tell me it straight because she's a robot. So
Yep.
I think she would just find my behavior strange. So I
Yep.
think would just tell me. I think now knowing obviously Zodi knows something about me that I don't know, I would say Paradigm,
Okay.
because I don't know. And I then would also say Spectre, because I don't think Impasse would, considering we've teamed up a few times and also is more of a sidekick role. So I don't
Perfect.
think they'd put me in check.
Cool. Okay, so wait, I've got lost. So Spectre, Tilda, and Paradigm add Resonance in the I have influence over, and then Resonance if you'll add Spectre, Tilda, and Paradigm to these people have influence over me. And I think SJ, you are Impasse. You are the one that we haven't done it for, so you are in, I think, the core. Not that one, that's Legacy. Nova, I think you're in here somewhere. Unless you're, there we go. We've already covered who you teamed up with before and who your mentor Impact is trying to get you to keep an eye on. So are you by nature more playful or more businesslike?
Definitely more business.
All right. Well, it doesn't mean you don't care about your teammates, and it doesn't mean that you don't listen to them, but thus far none of them has really gotten close enough to you or you to them to where their perception of you would impact your perception of yourself. So you give no influence to any of your teammates, but maybe because your influence is all kind of centered in your mentor. That's the person that you look to guide you, at least for now. So influence can certainly change. The reason we figure this out is because there are some moves that you can make that allow you to take advantage of influence over someone. And whenever you are directing a move at someone and you have influence over them, you add 1 to the roll, just to reflect. So for example, if Spectre is in a tough spot, and Impasse is getting beat up, and Spectre's like, no, they're here for me, I need you to get out of here. If Spectre tries to basically say, no, you're going to get killed, you need to lead this to me, you're effectively trying to influence them by maybe inflicting the afraid condition so they'll run away. If you try to do that, you'll have a +1 on the roll, just because if you have influence over Impasse. I mean, bad example because no one has influence over Impasse, but you see what I'm saying? It's a little bit of an extra because of the closeness. Someone you have influence over is going to be more likely to listen to what you say and adjust the way they view themselves and therefore their choices accordingly. You can also exploit influence, basically spend it as a way of changing an outcome. So if someone is going to do something that you don't like and you have influence over them, you can impose a penalty on a move after it's happened. So like if someone's going to rush, maybe you're trying to save them, right? Or maybe someone's trying to read you and get at your secret and they're successful and you have influence over them. You can exploit that influence to narratively be much better at disguising the conversation or distracting them, or maybe you throw an insult at them to kind of throw them off base to keep your secret from being seen. So purely narrative, but that's something that you want to keep track of, is who you have influence over and who has influence over you. It will change because there are moves. Typically, adults all have influence over you, unless you, through a narrative means or a move, clear influence. The assumption is that whenever an adult is targeting you with a move, they get the +1 because they're an adult. I will often not apply that to supervillains in general or enemies in general, even if they're adults, because they're enemies, they're bad guys. You're not gonna care what they think about you, but maybe, right? Especially if it's your mom, right?
May I ask where the
Yes.
bit is? I can see that I have influence over. I can see NPC teens with influence and adults with no influence. I can't see the bit that says where it says they have influence over me. Where's that?
That is, let me switch over. I guess I could share this. No, I'm not going to. That is,
Can anybody else see it? Because I can't see it.
it's rows 58 to 65. It's directly above adults with no influence.
I think if you want to see if someone has influence, you'll just scroll around
Yeah,
the
yeah.
character sheet.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
say. Right, yeah, that's what I was going to say. There wasn't
Oh, yeah.
what I was getting confused about when you were saying
Yeah.
the people that have
I
influence
wasn't
over you,
looking
I
at
thought
it.
you meant there was another column, and I was like, I don't think. I was like, there's just a column that says I have influence over. I was
Yeah.
trying to find a column that said
That
people-
works.
yeah,
That
sorry.
works.
Sorry,
It's fine.
I was
It's
very
fine.
confused. I was like,
No, I remember there was a second column, but not what it said. Anyway, so no, we are for those that are interested, and I've seen a couple people in chat say, "Oh, this is an interesting kind of system." So it is not canon, but the maker Evil Hat Games has put out a lovely Google sheet that helps to collect everything in one spot. But literally, you can play this just printing out the. You don't need anything other than a 2-page playbook front and back. You mark some check marks as you fill in a few blanks, and that's really all you need to play. So it's very different than D&D, where character creation takes a long time and there's number crunching and all that kind of stuff. It's much more flexible, but it also can be very, very deep, especially as your character grows. So I think we have a good sense in general of who the individual party members are, what their backstories are, how those backstories are connected, and how they feel about each other. Impasse, are you prepared to select the benefits of your team base?
Let me pull it up. Just a sec. So definitely the base is one, and then I went with supercomputer,
Perfect.
and then
Ah,
I was going to do security systems just because
yep.
I think my mentor is going to also. I may not be aware of it, but he's definitely going to be watching.
Perfect. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So it's secure, which is good, but you are also pretty sure that Impact is keeping tabs on you. All right, and then the last little bit is for you, Lala residents, being a celebrity, right? And you're just a teen, but like you've got a history, you've got a following. Your TikTok is has lots of followers and all that kind of stuff. So why does your audience love you?
because I'm stunning,
Right.
unique, and beautiful.
All right. Any other? You're not really a noble warrior for justice. You're not really just like them. I mean, you're so much better. Are you a firebrand and a rabble rouser?
No.
No. Okay. So it's
Not
mostly
at-
just because
not-
you're super cool.
Not at this point.
Right.
Well, I could only pick one at that point. No.
You can actually pick all that apply. Although I agree, I think many of them don't
Oh.
apply.
Okay, so I feel that at this point in her story, that's her brand.
Yeah. Got it.
So that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, got it. Got it. So what are the advantages that your audience brings to you?
I earn a lot of money.
Perfect.
So I'm very wealthy. And then I was torn between two, and I should have asked you this off air, but I had PR agent or utterly devoted fans. Now, I think I'm leaning more towards PR agent. I think that makes a more interesting story for us as a group of superheroes. I feel that the PR agent would make more of an interesting dynamic, because obviously they might twist certain events, but then they also might push certain events. They might push us to do things. So I think that would make it more interesting.
Yes.
So I'm going to get that one.
So you are represented by SCA, the Superhero Creative Agency. And you have had a variety of agents. And one of the things that SCA is great because they rep a lot of much more established superheroes. But what it does mean is you're never quite sure who it is that's going to call you up, because maybe someone needs to go deal with a situation involving a more mature, more established hero. And frankly, the turnover is pretty high because doing PR for superheroes is challenging. Like if you think it's challenging for sports stars, think superheroes, right? Like how do you spin? They destroyed the entire downtown, and turn it into a good thing. So there's a high burnout rate, but when you see the SCA office show up on your phone, that it is your rep calling you, either with an opportunity or something. Awesome. Now, what are two demands that your audience makes upon you?
They need constant stimulation.
Yep. So you're live streaming everything all the time.
A constant stimulation. And they like some bouts of drama. They love some drama.
They think it's cool when you do something super heroic, but that's kind of expected. But they really love the behind the scenes. Like they really, they're used to reality TV, so they really want to see the action, and they want to see you be cool, and then they want to see like the drama and the conflict and the tears and the reconciliation. Do you sometimes manufacture that, given that your audience is watching and you don't want to lose them?
Yes, I have to.
Beautiful. There's a little. Folks in chat are noticing that there's there's maybe little shades of The Boys in this. There's little shades of X-Men. Yes. So
to just come out of character for a second. Yes, I have seen The Boys, and Meg, you don't want to be Butcher. His accent is the worst. It's painful to watch. It shows how good the script writing is of The Boys, because if it wasn't for the good script, I would have turned off many a times. Like, can I just say, British people say twat, mate. They don't say twat. They say twat. Sorry if there's anything friendly there. It's
all good.
Really, really annoyed me.
Yes.
I literally almost threw something across the room. Anyway, back to today's.
And they could have just made him Australian because he's Australian, But anyway. So yes, this is intentionally referencing a lot of things. You will pick up another reference when I tell you that one of the organizations that you are all members of is the Parasol School, kind of Umbrella Academy.
Damn Umbrella Academy stuff.
Right.
I did want to
Paradigm.
throw in an additive.
Yes.
Because of where I come from and because of what Resonance does, essentially, I don't particularly care for her. In fact, I am going out of my way to stop her from live streaming everything because I know what she is physically capable of. So during her live streams, there's constant back and forth between me and her regarding the whole live streaming everything.
Got it. Which actually, yeah, right.
Sounds like some juicy drama.
Exactly. I was going to say it.
Exactly. Good for her, people. It's
Yep.
better when, I'm winning and tell her, turn the damn camera off because they don't need to see this.
It plays into the need for drama. So perfect. I like that layer. So yes, you are all members of the Parasol School for exceptional students. It is one that was created by a consortium or several trusts and wealthy individuals who are either superheroes or superhero adjacent, who wanted to create a safe place for exceptional superhero style kids to learn and go through the normal curriculum, but also to socialize with people like them, etc. It is one where there's two layers to it. There's the public face. I'm going to say that you're all because I don't think any of you are like super secret identity. Like none of you is the Janus playbook, so you don't have to maintain strict secrecy. But there are layers of the school where students who either need for a variety of reasons to keep their identity secret, or their powers are such that it would be dangerous for them to be out in the world and be well known. You don't mix with them much. Think of it like a separate campus, but you know it exists. That part of the school is administered by Aegis. Aegis is a pseudo-governmental organization that deals with superheroes and superhero issues. Some superheroes actually are agents of Aegis, but Aegis is SHIELD, right? It is every incarnation of the government agency that is designed to cooperate with and or keep tabs on and or keep superheroes under control depending upon the situation. So your school is tangentially related, but none of you are directly ordinarily deal with SHIELD agents, Aegis agents. None of you are employed by them. And really, the only time that you have to deal with them is when there's a catastrophe. They typically come in and clean up. I will say that the construction industry in Halcyon City is extremely lucrative because every week there is some sort of major disaster and lots of destruction. So everyone's pretty much used to that.
Got a rocket launcher.
Yes. Or giant tentacle monster, right? Like how Tildor met you guys. So you've had some adventures, you've come together, you hang out, although you have your connections, you have your applications. We typically find you at your base. So we will open to a big splash page. It is the morning ritual at your secret base. Impasse, does your secret base have a name?
If it does, it probably starts with an IM.
Well, think about it.
Yeah, I'll think
and what you think about what you say. So, is it underground or is it a disguised building?
I would say it's probably it looks like an abandoned warehouse, but underground is probably the actual base.
All right. So, we have like a helicopter view swooping through the glass canyons of downtown Halcyon City. You probably see there's a pickpocket who grabs the lady's purse, and then a speedster comes and stops him, and everyone kind of claps. And there's a few photos. People pick out their phones. You see a reporter standing at a smoking hole in the middle of the downtown with like lots of goop and gunk and tentacles everywhere from the most recent alien invasion. You see dump trucks hauling away various different, mechanical stuff from some supervillain who set their robot army on the town to rob a bank or whatever, right? So you see various different chaos, but mostly it's just people going about their day. We swing around to an area near the docks because Halcyon City is on the water, to maybe a less fancy kind of neighborhood, much more sort of industrial, to a very nondescript, not very well kept, slightly rusty, corrugated metal style warehouse. Inside there's some like rusty old machinery and some rusty barrels and lots of dust. And we get really close to the floor and we see there's a little very, very fine line of hatching, and we hear a little buzzing from beneath. And then we sink through the floor into this very kind of, it's Spartan, given who created it, but also very high tech. It's not huge, but computers everywhere, all the research you would want, multiple screens on a wall so that you can access information and live feeds from around the city, etc. As we pass down the hallway, you see infrared eyes, and you see pressure plates, and you see ocular password thingies where it like has to read your retina to let you in a door, and like palm prints. Like, this thing is very, very secure. And then we make our way into the living quarters, and it is a series of, kind of cinder block rooms. Some of them look different than others. Some of them are festooned with pictures, like publicity pictures and shots, and Lala hanging out with a bunch of like known celebrities. I would say that as the alarms start going off in the various rooms to wake you all up, it's probably one of your top 10 hits that plays out of your phone as your alarm, Lala, to wake you up. One of the rooms has maybe a couple of chairs in it, but otherwise there's a big alcove, and it is the metallic form of Tilder. And no alarm. You just see some lights happen, and I think your hair lights up. So you begin to activate. Impasse is probably already up doing calisthenics, right? Because gotta get those reps in early. Paradigm is probably in a tangle of sheets from having bad dreams, because a lot of your memories of the future show up to you in dreams. So it's probably hard for you. You probably hit the snooze button a couple of times. And Spectre is probably, I'm going to say do you think your room is like very orderly? Like, do you think keeping control of your environment is important, or is it the opposite, where it's just like clothes everywhere? And
yeah, it's a mess. It's total disaster in there. I do it kind of on purpose.
so we zoom in on what we know is another bedroom, but it just looks like a closet exploded, and you're not even sure where their bed is until the alarm starts going off and like a hand reaches up from a pile of clothes and stuff, and you just like knock off that kind of stuff. So you make your way into the common area where there's machinery that can provide you with food, and there's a fridge, and those of you that drink coffee can activate the coffee maker. Well, it's probably automated. The first thing you notice is that you're used to the coffee being ready, or at least the smell of coffee if you don't drink it. There's nothing. Check your phone, check your watch. It's the time. So whoever checks it out first will notice that it's blinking irregularly. And like where the clock display is supposed to be, it's not like it lost power, so it's blinking zeros. It's just random shapes and lines in the display. It looks like it's on the fritz.
I would have been checking it out first, because I like serving everyone coffee in the morning when they want it, because it's like, here's your morning coffee.
Oh yes, because food.
I will watch a little bit too long.
Perfect.
But at any rate, I'm there standing at the machine looking at the codes. That's weird.
Yes. So yes. We then cut to the scene of so you have activated, and you don't need to get dressed or there's no yawning and any of that stuff. It's like you're active and you're ready to go. So it's the routine begins, and you go in and you're preparing to like get coffee out and get breakfast up and pull things out of the fridge and heat things up and get everything ready so you can kind of watch and observe. Nothing seems to be behaving the way it's supposed to. Like, the fridge is hot. Not like it went off, but like it somehow has started blowing hot air. So as soon as you open it, your olfactory receptors smell like maybe it doesn't smell that great. The coffee maker is just making these, like maybe the displays on the fritz, but as you begin to interact with it and press the buttons, it doesn't seem to, like maybe you can get it to spit hot water for a couple of seconds, but that's it. Otherwise it seems non-functional. And that's at the point when the other members of the team start trundling in, probably expecting you to serve them. And the first thing you all notice is there's no smell of coffee. There is a smell like garbage, though.
I am opening and closing the door of the refrigerator as if that will change the situation.
Just repeating the routine, right?
Yeah, it's still hot and weird, and everything's melted. And close it.
You notice that the light goes off when you open the door, and then goes back on when you shut it. And of course, it's a smart fridge, so there's a screen, and it's just random. It doesn't look like language or glyphs or numbers. It's just like random static, and like it's trying to load up the display and can't. It's completely jumbled.
What happened while you were trying to make coffee?
There's no coffee. Who broke it?
Well,
Who do I need to bludgeon with my mug for a hot cup?
please do not bludgeon anyone with your mug. That would damage the mug, and we'd have to make another purchase of one. The machines are broken.
How are the? Do we know how they broke? Why are they broken? Impasse. What? I thought the base was supposed to be like not do this.
I'm opening and closing the fridge.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check the breakers, and I'm gonna do a hard reset, see if that fixes anything.
All right. So you go back into the utility room, and you power it down, or you flip the breakers. And when you're expecting the emergency lights to come on and the backup generators to kick in, because you're effectively taking the base off the grid, you flip the breakers down, and I'm gonna say the light, the lone kind of ceiling light in the mechanical closet just gets really, really bright and starts making a buzzing sound, and then kind of flashes.
Resonance, are you in a mood or something? Like, what is this you? What is going on?
Did you
No,
not get enough likes on your last video?
I was just doing my morning meditation.
Doing your yoga.
Yeah, I was just doing my meditation, my mindfulness.
You up this early.
I
Do
can't
our
let
phones
things
work?
like coffee bother me. I mean, as you know, I'm caffeine free anyway, so
Well, that's a disappointing thing for you.
Did you post a selfie of you with like a an inspirational quote of like starting every day with mindfulness is the key to, whatever, meme kind of thing, just to wake up your fandom first thing in the morning?
yes. Let's say yes.
So you
So
post
also I was slightly late into the room because I was trying to pick the best photo.
right. So you pick the best photo after you get the appropriate kind of enlightened look on your face. Then you adjust the lighting a little bit, and you press send, and then of course it's your habit immediately go and look and see like how many likes you've gotten and how many people have reposted it, and the picture is all messed up. It's like it looks fine in your photo album, but what's actually on the site is all like pixelated and weird. And there are a few comments of like, what's that? But some of the comments themselves seem garbled. Like someone's cat walked over the keyboard. And at first you think it's like, oh, is it some sort of new, some sort of new response, but then you realize it's like, no, some of these messages are coming through normal, and some of them are also garbled, like your picture.
I'm gonna slide over and take a peek just so I can make a wisecrack. That's a really great picture of you, Rez.
Delete it, and I just look at Paradigm and just
Beautiful.
I'm gonna check the security systems and also maybe send a message to my mentor to inform him something weird's going on with the base right now.
Yes. You
Where are
Really, you're not hooked up to the base at all. Like, electronically, right? Because we don't need anything to happen to you. We don't need you to fritz.
I was hooked up to it just a bit ago in the pod.
Are you
Gave
okay?
Tilly the Wi-Fi password.
I will run a self-diagnostic.
Yes.
I
How
assume it will. I don't know. Go.
how about I'm going to take that as assessing the situation.
All right.
So we're gonna get a move in here. So I would like you to roll superior. So you roll 2d6 and then add your superior score.
All right. I got a 3 and a 6.
So that's a
plus,
9.
I think a 1. So that will be 10.
All right. Well, that is definitely a hit. And on a 10 plus, you get to ask 2 of the following questions. What here can I use to fill in the blank? And these may not all be relevant. And if you have an alternative question that you'd like to ask, just pitch it. What here is the biggest threat? What here is in the greatest danger? Who here is most vulnerable to me, which is probably not relevant. And how could we best end this quickly?
I'm gonna go with what here is in the greatest danger, I guess. That seems like a nice one. And how can we best end this quickly seems great, because we need coffee, or at least they do.
All right, so I'm going to say that you complete a self-diagnostic and realize that your systems are operating within established parameters. You're at 99% charge, everything's good. However, as you go and check your wireless systems, right, your IoT plugin, you are picking up a variety of kind of chaotic signals from like every Wi-Fi and Bluetooth enabled device, and every device. You quickly kind of do some mental mathematics and you realize that every device that is connected to the smart home system that operates your base and every device that's connected to the external internet has been affected. You have, and these are secure systems. You, however, have, military grade, super secret black ops style, and your operating system is completely unique. So you don't detect any intrusions or irregularities in your code, but you can tell that this event is not limited to the electronic and computerized technology here in the base. In fact, it likely is originating elsewhere. How your other question was, how could you best end this quickly? Find the source of the problem, which is not in your base.
All right.
I will also say powering down, trying to do something to mechanically power down to avoid any more damage to mechanical systems would be smart.
All right. I'm going to relay the basis of that information and then say, we should remove all of our systems from the internet immediately. So turn off your phones. Impasse. Yes.
Airplane mode.
Airplane mode would work. Yes. If you change all your devices to airplane mode, impasse, I'm sure you know what to do with the base.
Yep, got it.
Yeah.
She's gonna break. Look at her. Just watch. She is.
No, do not worry. My systems are far too advanced to be affected by this calamity currently. I will see if I can.
I'm worried about.
Look, I think we'll know about
yes,
People know that you're going offline. You're going dark. You're going on one of your mysterious walks.
This is affecting.
Do that if I can't, like, it's gobbledygook.
Right.
I mean, they'll understand. Half the stuff you say is gobbledygook anyway.
I think we're missing the real problem here. We aren't getting coffee, and that's not a good start to the morning. Let's calm down a little bit and assess what we need to do here.
Don't worry, Resonance. I will record all of the footage for later use by you for your stream later.
Encourage her, Till.
You're the best. You're the best.
Yes.
Right.
How about instead of
Does
that,
anybody
we
know
use
how to switch it onto airplane mode? I don't think I've ever done this.
Oh my god.
Just double tap the record.
The eyes light up.
At this point, I will actually step in to help Resonance, put her phone into airplane mode.
Perfect. Impasse, you were saying something?
Yeah, Tilder, do something a little more productive aside from recording Resonance and having her meltdown. Is there any way that you can track or figure out the source of all these irregularities?
Based
I'll
on
see if I can. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, based on your previous role, I think that the fact that you're inside a very secure facility is you have been able to determine that it is coming from outside the facility, but the various different safeguards and redundancies that are designed to prevent this kind of thing have actually made it much more difficult to detect. You probably would need to go out and interface with the broader network or whatever Wi-Fi mesh is in the neighborhood.
Yes, we'll have to leave the base to find a way to pinpoint this location.
Well, let's go because this is.
We have to leave.
We don't know how far this stretched. There could be airplanes crashing outside. We need to do damage control.
This is about 85% likely.
Yep.
I'm sure a manual.
Want me to teleport over to the coffee box and get some coffee?
Yes.
Coffee is not the priority right now. The priority is
Beg to differ.
damage control outside the base.
Okay.
It's wait.
I'm heading out the base.
Hang on.
Is teleportation one of I thought you had telepathy and telekinesis.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I can pretend there was an accident. That's right. Brain fuzzy.
That's fine. I'll teleport. Oh,
The other cello.
was I able to?
Copy to them.
Yeah, was I able to do that? I don't know. So yes. All right. So that's the information that you have. Impasse, I'm going to say that with your one, you do what you would do, which is you open up the secure channel to Impact, and it's just garble, right? And maybe even you can tell that the other system is shut down, like the main computer system in his base is shut down. So he's probably doing the same thing. So he's probably been affected, and he's probably, shutting it all down and isolating everything, putting up all the firewalls to avoid damage to his much more complicated systems and much more expensive and dangerous machinery that he keeps in his base. So that's reassuring, I guess, because you can guess that he's probably doing what he trained you to do. All right, so what do? Do you put on your costumes? Do you go out in your jammies?
No, I'm getting into costume.
Okay.
Conveniently, jammies are also my costume.
hurry.
Yes. Right.
If I see Impasse going for costume, I'm going for costume as well.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and costume up since the leader is doing such things. While I'm walking back to the sheet heap that I have, I'm gonna ask Spectre if she can, just like on the sly, get a hold of her mom and see if her mom is being affected by this stuff. Maybe.
A big ass.
I'm like throwing clothes behind me, like out into the hallway, trying to find my costume under the heaps of crap that I've got. And I just kind of like look at Paradigm and I'm like, me and Mom are kind of having a hard time right now. I don't know that would go well.
I mean, with the whole her being a villain thing and on the run from the law.
From home and
Yeah.
not wanting to talk to her anymore.
Yep. And maybe Paradigm, you take a pause because and you're not sure if it was a dream or if it's a memory or how accurate it is, but part of your memory is that Spectre and Violet Scepter reconcile. So it's where that moment of being out of joint, because you're like, oh no, you guys are in contact, and oh wait, no, that hasn't happened yet, or will it happen? You're not sure.
Oh, so you're fighting right now? You ran away from home. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. Carry on. Bye.
Okay, and I'll start chucking more clothes again. Back to it.
All right. You
Has Residence gotten her costume on yet? Because
Oh,
boom.
I see.
Yes. Of course she does. Of course she does. She's always ready.
So
It's-
fancy.
It's like the press of a button and boom, there it is.
I love it.
So you make your way out. You actually have to, because you've powered everything down, you have to manually open the hatch mechanism. Which, and I'm going to say, I think Tilda is probably the most strong of all of you. So you probably have to work the crank. Have to open up a mechanism and work the crank, and eventually lift it open. And you all make your way out, and then you shut it, obviously, because you don't want random people walking in and finding all of your secrets. And you step out into, it's still early morning, and you're not in a place where, the people who work around here would never arrive to work. So it seems quite peaceful at first, but you do spot a man, like an Uber driver, who is out of his car, and he's obviously very upset, and he's like kicking the car, and he's looking at his phone, and he's trying to get a connection. He clearly is having a bad morning. He's about a block away, but that's the only person that you see. You don't see any planes falling out of the sky.
okay, good. Well, that's one thing at least.
That's the start.
And an Uber not being able to get his see what rides he has queued up is not a huge emergency.
But his car also doesn't seem to. And I will say, as you do that, you see the lights on the car flash, and when he kicks it, it kind of lurches, and he dodges back and almost drops his phone, and then kind of takes a few steps back and looks very suspiciously at his car. One of the doors, you hear a click, and it swings open. The windows all roll down, and then one rolls back up.
This isn't normal, guys.
Nope. I'm
I
gonna
thought
run.
that was just how cars acted. Come on.
I'm gonna run over to the guy. Be like, hey, there's some technology going on the fritz right now. We're trying to figure out what it is. Put your car in put the emergency brake on. Get away from it. Stand by.
Is
And I
it?
say, give me a second. And I put my hand on the car. May I switch the car off with my electrodynamic control, please?
I will say that without having to do anything, you can just basically send a pulse through that will shut down the computer. You might do damage to it, but at least it would be safe. It wouldn't. It would no longer be operational. You're sure you can fry a car's computer.
Yeah.
So you just kind of go, I'll take care of that. Zap. And it does. It kind of lurches, and the windows go up, and you can hear the clicking of the doors automatically locking, and the trunk pops open, and then it dies.
And then I give him a little card and I say, if it doesn't work later, just give me a call and I'll buy you a new one. It's fine.
He'll look at that and kind of go, wait, and then he'll look at you really closely and go, Are you Lala?
And I just go,
Oh my God, my sister loves you.
We gotta go see. We gotta go figure out what's
Yeah.
going on. More damage
Oh
control.
yeah, it's amazing. She's like 8 years old, but she really loves you.
Hey, residents.
Let's go.
Yeah, she loves watching all.
His arm and just yank.
She loves watching all the reruns of your old show. Are you ever gonna make a new one?
okay, we gotta go, but I'll let me know and I'll send you your sister.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll call.
Lala dolls.
It's the number to your PR agency, right? It's the general complaints line or the info line at CSA.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a typical morning. People recognizing you.
I'm
Awesome.
gonna get a status report from Tilda. See if she's having any more success now. We're out of the base.
Yes. So you begin a scan. All of the kind of digital systems are sending out gobbledygook, right? It's causing, as you begin walking, you can see streetlights flashing in random patterns. Anything that seems to be internet connected is malfunctioning, but still operating, which I'm sure you've already done the calculation, has a very high percentage chance of causing problems for people, like at hospitals or in traffic or air traffic or the subway or whatever. You then scan analog radio, which still exists. And you aren't picking up a whole lot of the major stations, but you switch bands, and there are a number of people on like ham radios, kind of civilian band, that you're able to pick up. And those, I mean, they really just require power. And some of those, can be battery operated or even crank operated. So a few people have pulled out what are effectively survival radios and are trying to reach out and connect with their friends and their networks, and they're reporting about what's happening. The good news is that the fusion power plant that provides power to the majority of Halcyon City, a lot of the heroes in town, especially those that have like energy manipulation abilities, etc., some abilities similar to what Resonance has, have converged, because that's the biggest threat. If the fusion plant goes, that's kind of it for the city. So many of the heroes have gone to that area in the north side of town, and others have deployed in various different parts of the city to evacuate the hospitals or to deal with traffic. And you've got speedsters running around, taking care of things. So it seems relatively well in hand until you pick up one of the signals that is from someone, called J-Dog or whatever, who's in downtown. And it's saying, oh yeah, I can see the heroes are out there. They're directing traffic, and there's a crane that went crazy and started smashing into one of the construction projects, but they've gotten that taken care of. One of them turned it into a whale. What are they going to do with a whale in the middle of downtown? These heroes are crazy. Oh yeah, now someone's flying the whale out to the bay. That's, it's just another day in Halcyon City. And then you hear this very, very loud rumbling, screeching sound that completely washes out his voice. And then he says, oh man, the L just went by here at like 100 miles an hour. Someone's got to stop that. So there is a relatively new, very, very modern maglev elevated train that runs a circuit around the town. And it does sound like that at least has escaped the notice of the many heroes that are trying to prevent utter chaos in town.
How fast can Tilder fly?
I don't know. How fast can Tilder fly?
It's a super jump, probably pretty fast.
How fast can you fly carrying resonance?
Shall I make you guys a basket?
How fast can you carry resonant and get to that train? Can you catch up?
Oh yeah, I can catch up.
Yep.
Grab
I'm pretty
resonance and
fast.
start going towards the train. We'll catch up.
I grab resonance. Probably
And I say,
in
can you
front of
still
me.
see me from this angle?
I hold you in front of me. I say, as I create a two beams of light from my feet, and we rocket off towards where the train goes.
So it's
we go. It's like a super jump kind of thing. So we go very high, and I can use the light beams to slow down on the approach back down.
So it's kind of almost like a solid light pogo stick situation.
Yes.
Love
pretty
it.
much solid light pogo sticks.
Love it.
Definitely leaves damage on the ground. I have to be careful where I aim them.
Yep.
It's probably a bit bumpy on the landing, but you'll be fine.
Yep.
Just a question.
Yes.
If she's flying off with residents to go shut the train down, is that necessarily going to stop it from still speeding? Like, is it just going to stop and drop? Or is it just going to,
Really?
coast along?
Yeah, that's
Hopefully it coasts and doesn't come to a complete stop, because that would hurt.
well, you have that thought, and you realize because it's maglev that if you shut it down, it's going to stop levitating, which means it's going to grind on the track, which means it could fall over. It's going to be, it won't be, I mean, they're doing what heroes do and leaping into action, but like you think about it for 6 seconds and it's reasonably advanced technology, but it's one that you're intuitively familiar with. And like, if they just shut that thing off, it's going to crash. It's going to topple.
Yeah.
It's going to topple off the rails. It's going to cause a problem. It's going to kill everybody. Yeah, it's a complicated situation.
The adrenaline's gonna kick in. I don't know what my speed boost power to get me there faster is if we want to make it
Can
flight.
you
because
fly?
tele-
Yeah, with exactly. That's what I was gonna ask.
Then I'm gonna zip off to go assist them to keep the train up because of telekinesis.
I would say that it makes perfect sense for you to be able to use your telekinesis to push yourself off the ground. Self-telekinesis, basically. Would you like to bring all of your friends with you? Or are you just
I can
taking a...
copy hers as well.
Ah,
So
okay.
we just need to get Spectre there.
So which of you... I'm going to say, Paradigm, this is not something that you... Like, you don't use self-telekinesis a lot because it's very straining, because you have to be very... Like, if you're lifting up a wrecking ball, you don't have to be really careful with it. Like, it can take a lot of pressure.
Focus on not breaking myself in the process.
You got to keep the forces just balanced.
Like with Impasse, I would say, this is going to be a 2-person job to get Spectre there. And it's not because, Spectre's fat or heavy or anything. It's just I have to be able to focus. Let's go. So
All right.
we're all going to hold hands and zip off.
All right. I would like you to roll to unleash your powers. So you are going to roll 2d6 and add freak. Because this is kind of like a stretch. It's only an unleash your powers because it's a stretch of what you are comfortable and familiar with doing.
That is a 10.
Ah, excellent. So that is a hit and it is a full success. So where is that? You do not have to mark a condition, which is good.
Okay.
You simply do what you're trying to do. So you begin probably levitating Spectre, getting the balance just right, and maybe she wobbles a little bit, but you get the field balance just right with your mind, and then you levitate yourself up and you balance the field between the two of you. As Impasse, you kind of just intuitively absorb that power and begin doing the same thing.
Spectre, pretend you're a noodle. It'll be so much easier if you don't wiggle around and flop like a fish. You just be limp.
Yeah.
But I want to do cartwheels.
You start to try to do like the Superman fly thing. It's like, no, it's so much easier if you just stand normally, don't move. Love it. Love it. So then the three of you, Paradigm and Spectre in front and Impasse following, just kind of, it's like you're standing on on a people mover in the air. You just move and I'm going to say are cautious at first. You kind of gradually pick up speed. The good news is because of the telekinetic field around you, you aren't getting a lot of bugs in your face. And you can feel the passage of wind, but it's significantly reduced even as you reach, a relatively high speed, certainly fast enough to catch up with Tilda and Residence. So with Tilda and Residence kind of pogo sticking across the city and you guys floating in a flying V, Tilda, you still have access to all the data that you have ever consumed. You know and can easily calculate where the train is going to be, and you can make the adjustment. I mean, the guy said it was going fast. You can very quickly calculate that if he lives near the L, he is familiar with the speed it normally goes. Therefore, it's probably going faster than it normally goes. Therefore, you can adjust your trajectory. So with you leading, you're able to arrive a few moments before the train. And from above, you can see this multi-card kind of small but kind of bullet train shaped goes around a corner, and you can hear off in the distance some squealing as just the centripetal force begins to push it up against the rails, and you can see sparks as the metal contact is made. Paradigm, Judge, is your telepathy, like, do you have some like just passive sense? Like if a bunch of people are in a very, very strong emotional state, do you think you would pick it up even if you aren't
Yes,
trying?
I would definitely be able to pick that up.
Okay. So, like if you were trying to read the mind of a particular person in that train, that would probably be an unleash powers. But because this is a bunch of people who are really freaked out, you just experience a wave of, oh my God, we're going to die. Oh my God, we're going to die. You know, lots of different voices, not really making sense, nothing that you can get intelligence from, but certainly you know that there are a lot of people that are on the L that are very, very afraid.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that because Tilder's a robot, I'm not going to be able to telepathically, push myself into her brain, because it's a CPU.
Have you ever
I
tried?
will- No, but at this moment, I don't think that would be a good idea.
Okay.
But she has resonance with her. I can weasel my way into Resonance's brain and scream at her to find out maybe how many people on average take that morning train so that I'm able to work with empaths to who can mimic everything, right? Everything I can do, you can do, right? We can work together to stop the train. We don't want to, stop. We don't want to pull it while it's going forward because that'll rip it in half. We kind of just want to work together and like lift it off of the track itself at the same time. But I need to know for weight reasons.
Sure.
And we're gonna, I guess, follow the train because we can't really set down, but I am at some point going to have to set Spectre down so that I can do this.
Yep. Yep.
I'd say maybe try to get me on the train if we can.
Okay.
Just in case people get hurt, I can try to use my
Beat you to
regenerative
the speed
abilities
bullet.
to
Got
help
it.
them.
Yep.
Yeah,
And it's not moving that. I mean, it's not designed to move like a real bullet train, because it only moves through a populated city.
Right.
It is going. It's moving at unsafe speeds, but it's not like it's moving hundreds and hundreds of miles an hour. So you can easily match its pace or fly forward and match its pace enough to drop Spectre off on the top. Based on your request, Tilder, you can run an estimate and assume that there are probably anywhere between 50 and 75 people on it, given that it's early shift. It's
Yes, and
most.
it weighs this much because I
Yep.
have all the data files.
Yep.
On
Yep.
so I can relay you the weight.
Yeah, more information than you need to know. I mean, it's lots of, well, given the demographics and how that spreads across early shift workers, it's likely largely financial professionals moving in and blah blah blah, and picking up the latest stock trades on these particular markets that are.
The telephone.
Yeah, it's just
For information only.
yes. You don't need to Google it. You've got TLDR.
The too long didn't read.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Exactly.
probably going to be me paradigm using telepathic powers to try to slow it down. Tilder can probably help. Resonance, I'm a little weary of just because you'll probably damage the train.
No, I'm not gonna use electricity though. I'm gonna use my
the
thunder
sound.
control
Yeah.
Okay.
to
Okay.
try and slow it down
All right.
to create like a wall of sound.
A wall of
But-
sound and just air pressure.
Yeah.
All right.
That would
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
help with the telekinesis to
But I'm gonna do
together.
it with levels. So obviously, like the louder I am, the stronger it is. But I will bring it down as the train stops. I'm not gonna just crush
Yeah.
the
Oh,
train.
of course. Of course.
And I'll tell people.
I am gonna
race
ask-
and-
I'm going to ask Tilda to hold onto me in case the force of the train is stronger than my strength. So I'm going to ask if Tilda can brace with me.
Yes.
If that's okay.
Yep.
Tilda?
Yep.
Easy.
I'll do that.
Easy enough. All right. So we have several Unleash Your Powers rolls, and I'm going to say, Spectre, you are making a defend roll. So while we are not entering combat against a powerful foe, we are entering danger. So you currently have you have the one team in the pool. Team is a resource that you can use to get a +1 on a roll. If you are not with your party, you can use it selfishly just for yourself, but it has to be used in a way that might offend people or make them feel disrespected. Not going to happen here. So we do have one team that we can draw on if you need it, because every session starts with a team. I am curious, just based, and I think a couple of people have alluded to it, is Impact, would you consider Impasse to be the group's leader? Or I should say, who would consider, well,
Yeah,
who would consider Impasse to be the team's leader?
right.
Yeah, that would be me.
Okay.
I think Resonance is the biggest.
Nope.
Seeing that she still sees me as a possible sidekick, she's probably
No way.
the holdout
no
on
way.
that.
So
I know I see myself as the leader because it's my stuff, and I probably went out and actively recruited
yeah.
the team.
Yep. And you don't have to agree who the leader is. If you are entering combat against a dangerous foe, I mean, we'll say the majority rules, but there's some questions we have to ask, and we can figure out what that does to your total team available. But so Resonance is team leader. For Paradigm and Spectre, do you also think Impasse is the leader? And how about you, Tilda?
Yes.
I think probably Impasse is the leader. Yeah.
Okay. Not important in this exact moment. And I'm hearing a little bit of an echo, so maybe someone mute if you're not talking. Anyway, and maybe it's just me. Chat will let us know if they're also hearing a little bit of an echo of my voice. Anyway, so but now that we got that ironed out, when we actually enter a combat against a dangerous foe, I'll know exactly how to set it up. Thanks, Reth. So they aren't hearing it, so don't worry about it. We are going to get a simultaneous unleashing your powers from Impasse, Paradigm, and Resonance. And Spectre, I'm going to need you to make a defend roll. You are effectively trying to get on there and see to protecting the people. Are you going to go inside?
Yeah, I was gonna go inside the church.
Yeah, there's a hatch on the top. It's easy for you to get in. Cool. So we'll start with Spectre, because I heard your dice rolling.
Yeah, I rolled a 9.
Plus Savior.
Yeah, 9 total.
Oh, 9 total. Great. So you may you do keep people safe. So we'll talk narratively how that happens. But it's going to cost you, either by exposing yourself to danger or by escalating the situation. I'm going to say that since there's not an apparent foe, that you are going to expose yourself to danger in the process.
Yeah.
So, does it make sense to you?
Yep. OC, for just a moment, I have to put my hand over my camera so I can take medicine. So
No worries.
you don't get a TOS.
Okay, no worries. We'll come to Paradigm last. All right. And you get to choose whether you add team to the pool, whether you take influence over someone you protect, which will be someone in the train, or whether you clear a condition. You don't have any conditions, so it'll be one of the two.
I'll add a team to the pool.
All right, cool. So your team score is now at 2, which is good. So here we have the scion of the supervillain being a real team player, being the savior, putting themselves at risk. What I will say is that, you pop the hatch, you come in, and you start just, exuding authority. And people react. They say, "Oh, it's a superhero." They may not know who you are, but they see in that moment someone in a costume coming down from the ceiling. A lot of people immediately feel relieved. And you start, ordering people who are like getting up and looking out the windows. You order them back in their seats and fasten their seatbelts. There is, and the train is just coming around a corner. And as it does, there's a teenager who is maybe not quite as concerned as they ought to be. you know, because they have that teenage I'm immortal kind of thing. Oh, cool, superhero, whatever. And they happen to be standing up against one of the sliding doors that opens to enable people to enter and exit at the stations. And almost like it's the train is aware, he turns around to look at you, oh, cool, superhero, and takes a step back. And as soon as it does, the doors start to open. You, however, because of your success, are able to do a really awesome vault forward and probably just grab him and yank him back in. But the counterbalance, you lose as the train rights itself and gets onto a straightway. You lose your balance and are now dangling out the side of this very rapidly moving train.
Yay!
So I'm going to make a move against you, which means I'm going to ask you to mark a condition. I could dictate it, but I will say which does that make you angry? Does like, oh crap, I'm about to fall out, does that make you afraid? Guilty doesn't make sense. Hopeless probably doesn't make sense. Insecure, does it like, oh, I'm here being a big hero, and then first thing I do is I trip and nearly fall out myself. So pick the one that you think is thematically the most reasonable for you, and then click the box next to it.
Yeah, I think insecure is definitely what I would be feeling right there.
Awesome.
I've got regenerative abilities. I'm not scared, but
good point. Good point. So, you go in, you defend. For those watching, so conditions are emotional states. It's one of the things that often happens as a negative consequence when you don't quite succeed, or you can inflict them on each other. So when you are insecure, you have a penalty on rolls to defend others and to reject their influence over you. Until you clear that condition. There are a number of things you can do to clear the condition. There are moves you can take. There are social moves and team moves you can take. But one thing that's available to you, Spectre, always is if you take a foolhardy action, that will clear your insecurity. But it has to be foolhardy, right? It can't be just like, you know, don't min-max it. It is like, it really does need to be something where you're really overcoming that insecurity and acting maybe a little overconfident. Cool. So now we have a wide shot of this bullet train just going around the corner, heading towards you. We've got Tilder standing on what are effectively stilts of light, holding resonance forward. We've got Impasse and Paradigm floating on either side through telekinesis. And we've got Spectre holding on by one arm, just kind of dangling with the rail, just like you kind of have to lift your heels up just a little bit to not make contact with the rail. Yeah, awesome. So Impasse and let's do Resonance first. So Resonance, you are going to set up a pressure wave with your sonic control to try to slow the train.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how that goes.
I already rolled.
Okay.
That was my dice. I think you could hear earlier.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
What do I add to it? Which one?
Freak.
So 1. So I got 10.
Ah, well, excellent. So that is a full success, and you unleash your powers. So you do it, and you don't mark a condition. So it is just a successful use of your powers. You're able to attenuate your sonic control to create what is effectively just to massively increase the drag on this thing. And you can see the nose dip a little bit, and you let off a little bit, so that it doesn't start to grind against the rails. So you are exercising masterful control over your sonic ability, and you can tell, you can hear the clanking as the joins between the various different cars kind of compress a little bit as the front car, the engine car, is slowed, and then the rest of them also begin to slow. It's not enough to stop the train. It's going to take the combined telekinetic force of Paradigm and Impasse's momentarily borrowed telekinetic powers to effectively stop this thing without disaster. So, Impasse and Paradigm, make your rolls plus freak.
Is that this D6s?
2d6, and then add your freak score to it.
Okay. Freak. Yeah, so mine's just
While they
8.
do that, I just want you to know that the note was
Perfect.
I got an 8 as well.
All right. So, you both succeed, but it is a strain. So you are each going to also mark a condition. This one, I think I am going to. I think I'm going to say that impasse marks afraid. Not so much for yourself, but you start to do it, and you can feel through whatever this sense of connection that you have with Paradigm's powers. You can feel the two of you syncing, and then you can feel it getting out of sync, and you can actually see the train starting to lurch a little bit from side to side as you're not able to balance the forces between you, and you become afraid, not for yourself but more of failure, or that people are going to die. So I need you to mark the afraid condition. Paradigm, I'm going to say that the way that this affects you is you feel a little bit guilty because maybe because you're distracted for a minute, or maybe it was just like you're trying to use your powers just perfectly, and maybe you weren't quite on that threw impasse off, and you're aware of that, but maybe she's not. But you take the, oh crap, I messed this up, and it's also my power that they're using, and so you kind of take a little bit of extra ownership upon yourself. So yes, so we've got some fear, some insecurity, and some guilt. Tilda, you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. It's all good. You are watching this and making calculations, and I will say that you are able to contribute to the success by rapidly calculating the exact force that's being exerted just based on the wobbling, and provide, no, you push harder, no, you let off. You're able to guide them with your rapid analysis, and that eventually, just as the train gets up to where you are holding residence, it stops. It's still trying to go. I mean, you're all using your abilities to keep it still. It is still in operation.
Oh, should I?
Can Resonance slap it now, or will it fall down?
Yeah,
It'll fall, but it'll fall like a foot.
I'm gonna touch it.
I'm
gonna go.
Gonna zap it. You gotta zap it.
Yeah, but I want to do it like this, because it like the comedy part where it's all been like really intense, and then I just go like, boop.
All right, and a sparkling wave of electricity goes through it. It's enough to disrupt the control mechanisms. The power is still on, and you can see the lights flickering. And as you do it, it's got a horn, and the horn makes a really weird wah, kind of like a duck quacking sound. It is slightly comedic because as you touch it, it kind of like wobbles, and then kind of chunk, 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 chunk. The various different cars kind of not fall, but very rapidly come to rest on the rails. And then it just kind of sits there, more flashing lights, a few more sounds, then a sound. Maybe it has brakes or whatever. And inside you hear some talking, and then you hear some cheering. And some of the windows open, and you see people looking out to see who it is that has saved them. Yay!
Yeah.
And I turn to Tilly to make sure she got a good shot.
Yeah, you just put yourself in frame. You just go,
Yeah,
beautiful.
And nod in confirmation.
Yes.
And then,
No, she's gonna totally just sit there and do the whole boop thing. Just boop.
yeah.
Let's try this again.
I say to Tilly, high five.
Yes, of course.
This is the only train on this track,
Yes. And then we high five.
please.
Yes.
Okay.
It makes a continuous loop.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about another one coming up behind it. I will.
The one at Disneyland, Disney World.
Yes, and I will say that you hear, guys, from Spectre, who is currently dangling by one hand out the side.
Yes, I create
God, you did great.
I create a series of stairs to some of the doors out of hard light so people can get out.
Beautiful. And
Also underneath Spectre, who's dangling there.
who is right by the door anyway, so that is open. So you see these. What does your hard light look like?
It's basically just white, like a somewhat translucent white color.
Okay, so it glows,
think
but
that's-
it's not like super bright and blinding. Kind of just like a glowing,
No.
glowing
just
white material.
glowing. Yeah.
So Tilda does some geometry in her head, and the hair lights up, and then you can just see manifesting out of the ground this stairway moving up, and then as you look down, Spectre, you can see it coming to you, and eventually it lines up perfectly, so you don't even have to drop it. Just like it perfectly is balanced that you just put your feet down, let go, and you're standing on the steps, and you're able to then come back and usher people down and make sure. I'll say, you probably say, we could probably use some rails here. And then
this is against OSHA violations.
Tilda can immediately.
The OSHA regulations, yes, quite rails at the appropriate distance and
Right.
the appropriate height.
Exactly. And yes, you're able to extricate all the people from what could have been certain death. A lot of folks are they're very appreciative. Folks pull out their phones to try to take pictures, but then their phones are fritzed or whatever. So, but there's a lot of like hugging and, oh, where's my kid? Oh, there you are. So you have successfully saved, I'm going to say, 60, 75 commuters in a way that unfortunately is not currently being televised, but that these people will talk about later.
Remember, hashtag resident.
Yeah, when Twitter starts working again, remember.
All right, I'm more concerned about the next
We've got to have a
emergency.
conversation about what our team name is, because we can't really be a team without a name. Just going to put that out there.
I'm gonna say this is a topic that you have brought up multiple times. And like maybe you have yet to be able to convince everyone to come to consensus on, but this is probably something that you brought up multiple times. Like, we really do need a team name. It's called branding. It's called branding.
Like, how are you meant to promote yourself if you don't even have a name?
Yeah, you don't have like a team branded YouTube.
We don't have a hashtag.
I
We don't
know.
have anything.
Impasse is just like, it needs to start with an
Wow.
IM.
Yes.
I mean, that's not gonna happen, but okay.
Cool.
Are you picking up anything else that we can help with right now?
Let me check the radio enthusiasts.
You're picking up more chatter. A lot of people have connected with each other, and they're talking about they're throwing around conspiracy theories. Oh God, is it another planar rift? Is it another alien invasion? What is it this time? But it appears that the superheroes have everything in hand. And I will say, as you are taking care of the passengers, getting the last few who maybe have mobility issues, helping them down, you probably are you're able to turn the stair into a lovely accessibility ramp, so you can accommodate the needs of everyone. About that time, you pick up a big burst of static, and then you start to pick up the ordinary signals that you would expect. And I would say you can even tune in and you can internally visualize, a breaking news bulletin. Sorry folks, we were offline there for a little bit. It appears that the city has been impacted. Some people are saying it's solar flares or whatever, but it appears that we're getting confirmation that the city's power source or power plant has been secured, and that it appears that whatever effect was transitory. It looks like all of our systems are back up and online. We're broadcasting, and we'll bring you the news as we get more details. Cut to you, Bev, for the weather. So things very rapidly start to. There were a couple of car crashes There were a couple of incidents at the hospital that were kind of dicey, but all told, the disruption didn't last that long. Like maybe 30 minutes of peak problem. Tilder, you have enough access to Wi-Fi and systems and computers and surveillance, etc., that you know that it's a process that began sometime during the night, but that was very small, but that grew to basically a system-wide failure of everything that was connected to the internet. And potentially many things that were simply connected to the power grid. Like some of the things that were affected were things like construction equipment that, to the best of your understanding, isn't computerized. But I would even say, without having to make a roll, as you sift through the information that becomes available once system starts coming back online, you are certain that, in particular, the crane that was in operation in a repair zone in the downtown is old. It has, I mean, it's mechanical, but it's not Wi-Fi enabled. There's no Bluetooth. There's no computer. It's purely mechanical, and it operates on a diesel engine. And it was also affected. If you would like to know more, you may assess the situation.
I would love to assess the situation. I do let residents know that the internet works again.
Oh, thank you. And then I take a selfie. Can I
Is
also
this really the time?
She's scanning, calm yourself. And then Michael, on a thingy level, can we just add My Fair Kelly's comment to the story earlier on
Which one?
as a passenger? The big one as a passenger. I just think it's cute. Have you seen it?
Oh yeah. So there is one person who it just glares at you guys, very very suspiciously. And when Lala goes forward to kind of like get a bunch of the rescued recruiters in the background, just kind of spits on the ground and disgustedly walks away, muttering under their breath, "It's like, this is probably all their fault." Yeah, love it.
Right.
And I crop them out of my picture.
Right? You just like, just the frame. Click. All right.
While Tilly is doing hers, could I also possibly assess the situation as well, like as a whole? For me, it's what does the future know about this moment?
Yes, you certainly may make your playbook move to see if the future knows anything about this particular situation.
On the assess of the situation, I got a 9 total.
A 9 total on assess. Let's switch over. So you get to ask one question. Sorry, that was me. Drop my mouse.
Right. Let's see. It already ended, so that's probably not a good one. I feel like I want to know where it came from. Like, where's the cause of this? So I guess is that what here's the biggest threat?
Yeah.
Because it's weird that it connected, like we thought it was Wi-Fi based, but knowing that it's just connecting to things that have power, that's weird.
Yes.
And different.
Exactly. And I think that, and we can be, I mean, these are suggestions, and we can play with them as makes sense for the narrative. Yeah. So I will say, rapidly ingest all the reports that you can possibly get and are able to plot an intensity map. And it does look like the intensity of the disturbance and the types of machinery and electronics that were affected. It is more intense, and there were more, we'll say, primitive machinery and electronics affected at the epicenter, which is almost in downtown Halcyon City. It is also an area of town that you are very familiar with. It is the square upon which the large glimmering skyscraper that is the Litech Industries headquarters is located. You don't have precision down to like feet or whatever, but you can tell basically in that block was the epicenter, and then towards the edges, like the airport, which is outside town, wasn't really affected much. I mean, they had some problems with their radar and stuff, but like no flights were actually in danger. So yes, you were able to localize the source of the disturbance, if not identify it. Paradigm. You have a particular move, right?
Yes.
I'm going to look at it now. Yeah, so you're just going to assess the situation, and you may always ask what the future knows about this moment, even if you miss. So go ahead and roll 2d6 and add your superior.
Oh, I turned my phone off. No. I got a 7.
Now you know how I feel, Paradigm.
I got a 7 plus 2 gives me 9 minus 2 because I'm still feeling a little guilty gives me 7.
All right. Well, the good news is you may ask one question, and you may always ask you may always ask what the future holds. So you may ask one of those questions and then also what the future holds.
Well, first let's go with the what does the future know about this moment?
What you recall, and it's very hazy, is that at the beginning of things going wrong, when at the beginning of the public starting to distrust their heroes, there was an event, a disruption, that was later revealed to be a distraction. And you can't remember which hero or heroes, but you know that it was eventually blamed on a hero for causing the disruption. It wasn't hugely destructive. No one died, but it was very dramatic, and it disrupted the lives of everyone in the city. And when it was revealed that a hero was behind it, people were maybe even more upset than if it had been localized and someone had gotten hurt. And there's something there that you can't quite remember. Like, you know that it's like on the tip of your tongue or your memory. You know there was something, but there was something about the very nature of this distraction that really ticked people off.
Okay. And then for my other question, what was it distracting from?
I'm going to say what here is in the greatest danger is probably the best way to articulate that. I'm going to say, I'm going to say you feel, because of that vague memory, you feel like maybe you guys are in danger. Like more in danger than like the common citizenry.
1 second.
It's almost like you can feel the sequence of events and like the march of time and causation moving, and it's almost like, oh crap, we've just taken a step towards something bad, and it's personally threatening.
Okay. I'm definitely going to relay this to Impasse, not so much to everybody else, but because I view Impasse in that leadership role, I'm definitely gonna, give her the heads up. Hey, this is what I remember. It's not as clear. We're in danger, and I'm
I'm
not
aware
talking about that
she's from
meme
the future.
from yesteryear. I'm talking right here, right now. Something is going on. This and the glitch in the system was it's there's more to it. I can't put my finger on it, but I'm telling you there's more to it.
Okay, so I'm aware that you're from the future.
Yes. Ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Paradigm is not, it's not that Paradigm is necessarily holding anything back. It's just that Paradigm herself is not always super clear.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the memories are kind of scrambled.
Okay, so she's saying like she thinks we ourselves are in imminent danger right now. So we need to regroup and get somewhere, I think, a little more defensible.
I've originated the source of the disturbance to a one block area centered downtown where Light Tech Industries has their headquarters. Do we want to investigate further there?
I would say so. I also assume that there's going to be other heroes there.
And this is likely.
Yeah, so we'll head that way. Strength in numbers.
All right. So you make your way to what is kind of
Are we
almost...
making our way downtown?
Wait,
No, that is played
Michael.
out and it's not allowed. Yes.
can I have my meanwhile
Yes.
What?
moment?
Yes.
You know when you turn the comic book and it says
Yeah.
meanwhile?
Yes.
So
While this serious
you guys
conversation is
were-
happening. Yep.
Yeah. I've Clark Kented it up. I've had my Clark Kent moment.
Okay.
I've gotta get changed for a sec.
Yep.
And I'm on it. And I'm on a live feed. I'm on a live feed.
Yep.
I'm like, hey guys, it's your girl Lala. Wow, we're just downtown. And this amazing thing just happened. I just witnessed the team with no names still. Like save a train. Wow, it was amazing. There was like some people, like two of them flew up in the air and then like seemed to hold the train with like some kind of ability. Oh my god, no one knows what it was. And then this resonance, oh my god, with the help of Tilly holding her, like sang at the train and like slowed it down. And then Spectre seemed to fall out the sides. I don't know what happened. But then some lights came down, like in stairs, and Tilly's hair looked amazing. Shall I say, like, amazing? Who wants that do? That's the next one in. I'm just going to call it now. That's the next one in. I'm going to tell you. Light up hair, next fad. Got it. Yes, it was crazy. So just remember, #residents, and see you soon. Bye.
Lovely.
Hey, quick question.
Yes.
So, people don't know Lala as resonance.
They do if they see me, but like it's my thing where I'm kind of trying to separate myself as Lala from Resonance. Like I'm trying to be two different people. So
Yeah.
As
But
people know, like saw the thing that happened to you, they're like, "What is she doing?"
I would say
Yeah,
your
but they just see the start of
fans,
the story.
yeah, your real fans know.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like an in joke, like when you're going, oh my god, I saw Resonance. She was so awesome. Everyone should go follow Resonance. It's like
Yeah.
they all know that you're a
Yeah,
Resonance.
they know.
But that's part of the fun is like it's straight up Hannah Montana, right? It's like
Yeah.
everyone really, I mean, everyone knows or should know, and that's part of the fun of watching you.
Yeah.
Awesome. So
That's 100% it. They know I'm Resonance, but I just play along with the joke of
Yes.
like, you know, superheroes having a secret identity, but I'm not very secret. So.
yeah, because you're famous, right? So
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. So yes. As you make your way to what is effectively the Times Square of Halcyon City, the large rolling 4K displays are back up. You know, you've got the news on one, you've got an advertisement on the other. You have the advertisement is of a very, very established super team talking about, oh, it's our city and we're gonna, gotta clean up. There's a clean the docks initiative happening. So you've got, well, I'll say it's a cross team partnership of all the water types. So your Aquaman and your Aqualad and your Aqualady, all kind of teaming up together across teams and even across hero generations to say, hey, we got to remember, got to keep those docks clean, got to keep the water for the next generation. So exhorting the youth to be environmentally conscious. Impasse. The news broadcast catches your eye. It's it doesn't have sound, but you're reading the chyron. And it's breaking news, shocking footage revealed. And there is a grainy, probably a CCTV cam. And as you watch, you can see a figure. Probably a man. I mean, it's not super duper clear, but it's a man in a suit. Looks very like proper and respectable. But he looks like he's under duress, or he looks like he is afraid. He's not exactly running, but he's facing the camera, but he's obviously looking at someone who's not yet on camera, and he's backing up and he has his hands up. Like maybe it's a robbery scene or something. And then you see a very familiar figure back to the camera step into frame with the long cape and all the gadgets. And you see the figure articulate, like shout at this man in the suit who kind of does this and cowers. And then you see the figure rush forward and stab him. And then the man in the suit clutches his wound, falls back against a wall, and slides down. The resolution isn't great, but you can see the dark smear. It's black and white, but you can see the dark smear of his blood. And then the figure whirls with the cape coming out, and it's the mask. It's very, very familiar. And then it cuts back to the newscaster who looks very shocked. And then the chyron says, manhunt for impact. Hero caught on CCTV murdering innocent civilian.
I am going to run back to the base. Because I want to open a secure channel and see what the hell's going on.
Yes. At the same time, Tilder, you are looking around and scanning and looking for things, and you're kind of triangulating. You look up at the side of the Litech building, 37th floor, and you can see, the telescopic optics, you can see that a section of the exterior wall has been removed, but in a very precise fashion. Kind of an oblong with rounded corners, like perfect shape, has been excised in the side of the building, like slicing through steel girders, slicing through windows. There's no cracking, whatever. Like it's a very, very perfect incision. You look around, there's no rubble. It doesn't look like anything fell. It looks like a good 12-foot wide, maybe 6-foot, 7-foot tall section of the exterior shell of the building just disappeared. And with your enhanced auditory systems, you can probably pick up what sounds like an interior alarm at Litech. So, I think that is probably a good place to
God damn it.
give us a little bit of give us a week to think about what comes next. Introduce some, that is actually a move. It's called Show Them the Price of Victory. It's like you win and then there's complication, as there always is. So I went with a couple of different complications that are currently happening. So
Wait, I ask a quick question?
Yes,
There's
yes.
no coffee. There's no coffee. That is the biggest complication.
Yes.
with regards to the news story that Impasse has just seen, as I'm very much connected to social media, would my phone had been would I know about this?
You can certainly,
Phone?
yeah, as you see it, or as you see Impasse, oh my God, we got to get back. I got to get in contact. You can go, oh, and you can Google it. And yeah, even on your feed, you've got people saying, what's going on? It's probably a joke. Or I always, there's a small but very vocal contingent of people who are already putting up TikTok saying, I've been telling you guys about how these hero stuff is all a scam. They're all out for it, you know.
It's Kelly. It's Kelly.
Right.
Get off TikTok, Kelly.
How dare you,
Aside
Kelly?
from feeling guilty, this is gonna kind of be like a moment where, you know, I'm picking up what the world is putting down, and you know, I'm seeing all of the cogs starting to fall into place, and that's gonna give me like a huge sense of worry.
Yeah.
Is that I have to help these guys figure out what's going on to stop what I know is coming.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't remember that this is the first of the chain of events that started the whole thing.
Right.
But you can very quickly think if a very respected hero
Yeah, definitely.
either created or took advantage of a distraction to go kill an unarmed civilian, then that would certainly start the wheels in motion that could result in the type of legislation that would cause the ultimate problem that you know exists in the future. So yes, that you are significantly invested in this not going bad.
Yeah, we don't need it to go pear-shaped.
And
And to clear my guilty conscience, can my sacrifice be that we don't get coffee?
no.
Oh, I totally went and got coffee. And I came back and like Impasse is running off, and I'm like, what is happening?
No. That's not sufficient to clear your guilty conscience. I'm sorry. You have to think about how you're going to clear that. You can clear conditions by comforting others. So anyway, and I would say, Tilda, you are more than familiar with the 37th floor, because that is where you were constructed. So
Okay.
you are,
That's your birthplace.
yes. So you are likewise very. I would say that all in your different ways are very motivated. I think Spectre, your whole, I'm going to show that villains that those who came from a villainous background can become heroes. It gets a little complicated if heroes start becoming villains.
Yeah, I'm probably taking off after Impasse.
Yep.
Because if Impasse is running, something's wrong, and I'm very concerned about that.
Yes. Now, comms are back up, so it's not required that you all stay together. So let's take the next week to think about what we have learned so far about the world and what the plan is to take care of your two kind of competing concerns. And I anticipate certainly Impasse, you're going to want to have a conversation with your mentor, which might be complicated. But start thinking about the objectives that you would like to achieve and any plans that you might have to relieve yourself of the conditions that you are currently suffering from. Or you can just let the conditions stack up, because that becomes fun when you're playing someone who's guilty and hopeless and angry and afraid and all, and just taking negative twos to everything that you do. So yes, that is you might want to start to at least plan an attempt to clear yourself of those conditions before you get a bunch more as you move further into the story. Yes, Meg, they're all anti-supers lobbyists. Cool. So let's go around the horn one more time. Remind everyone of who you are and where they can find you over the next week. Let's start with SJ this time.
SJ Sidekick. I'm SJ Sidekick everywhere. Super easy.
Perfect.
The Original Zodi. You can find me on twitch.tv/the Original Zodi. One day I'll stream again. Rachie.
I'm Rachie H. You can find me at twitch.tv/RachieH, and all my social stuff is on there too. And like I said, I'm currently taking a break from streaming to try and get better. But I will be back at some point, and I'm making new things. So please give me a follow and like turn on notifications so that when I come back, you'll get told that I'm back. Yay!
Yes.
And I'm Misha Less Than 3. You can find me on Twitch at that channel, but I last streamed 2 years ago. Most likely you can find me hanging out at the Justice TV program here on Twitch.
I'm 98 Tough Love, Tough, Torple, Tuple, Luple, whatever random nickname you come up with for me. I am 98 Tough Love on pretty much every platform. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch primarily, although Twitter's still a little bit iffy. But I'm doing better about the socials. I am a variety streamer, do lots of games. We're doing a lot of horror games right now, so lots of spooks. And then I'm also over here been doing a lot of D&D stuff, which is really fun. So, woo!
Yep. Awesome. I am Zero Daylight or Zero or Michael or whatever. You can find me on the Twitter at that. It's Zero with a Zero Daylight. You could follow my channel on Twitch, but I don't stream there. I do stream here though. This is my third one, and this one actually went smoother than the other ones did, so that's good. Thanks to you guys for that. We play a bunch of different games here. This is kind of like our one shot and short series where we try out a bunch of different systems and different ways of telling stories collaboratively. Some of them crunchy, some of them much more narrative like this one. We have coming up tomorrow, we have Zombie Minnesota, where a number of folks, streamers and members of the community are playing themselves here in coming to the Twin Cities for JuiceCon 2022. And they just happen to show up right around the time as a zombie apocalypse. So they are going to be playing themselves. They have statted themselves out and are going to be trying to survive and trying to make JuiceCon happen, regardless of the zombie apocalypse. So they're going to be operating with a mission. Think this is going to be a lot more kind of Shaun of the Dead than Dawn of the Dead. So I think it's going to be kind of comedic. However, I do predict that some of them are going to become zombies. It's kind of an inevitability. But as
I looked at my stats last night. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
I said I was going to survive, but I'm gonna die. I'm fat and hungry and slow.
Well, as we have, I mean, spoilers, because this is meta, but just as a teaser for all those who are going to join us tomorrow, we have determined that if you're a zombie, you can stream 24/7. So maybe there's an upside.
True. There's perks.
Yes.
Kind of tempting.
No, don't. It's gross. And then we'll be back with this, the second part of this story next weekend. We'll be starting a little bit earlier. I think it's 11 p.m. Central. And we have planned for a third kind of concluding episode, but we'll see where we get. If we wrap it up, that'll be great. If not, we'll work on schedules to see when the next opportunity is, when we can get the gang back together, or we might even spread it over a couple and like maybe rotate out the people who can't and have a guest star. We'll figure it out in the next week or two. And then next Sunday is, if I'm doing my calendar right, it is the episode 1 of season 2 of our main D&D campaign. Another team that has no name, so it's very difficult to title these things. But Lissa will be back from her jaunt to the United Kingdom, and we'll be picking up and finding out what has happened to Port and Blaze and all of their friends, to see if they are still together, or if Mirth has just set the whole place on fire and gone to live in Verret and be a fake queen. Who knows? And for those of you who were here last weekend, you know that some of the stuff might have changed in the world of Ghost too. So I'm still, by the way, waiting for thoughts on exactly where the various different ghosts do and what they get up to when they are free from the confines of the mansion and the menagerie. So
Oh, I've totally come up with what Aurora's probably doing.
beautiful. Well, send me a DM. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
Oh, we have to say what they fully were doing.
sure. Oh, yeah. If you missed
Or
it.
no? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. If you missed it, well, number one, if you missed it, you should go to youtube.com/C plus content, and you can catch the one part of the two part of it I actually managed to record because I didn't realize there was a button you had to flick in Twitch to make it auto record, whatever. But you can catch up with the story so far. But yes, we had a lovely 2-part adventure with a couple of our previous guest stars in the role of Ghost in our main campaign, and a couple of others who were playing the actual spirits that inhabit the body of Ghost, dealing with the fact that the other spirits were missing, and frankly being traumatized by a lot of their own kind of personal issues. But eventually you were able to find the root of the evil in the mansion and destroy it, and make the choice to either go your own ways or go back to the menagerie. I think it was spooky and weird, and definitely worth going and watching when you have a moment. I have not yet put up the episode summaries on our World Anvil, but I will eventually. So if you are like many and kind of want to get caught up in what happened in the story, but you don't want to spend 5 hours watching it, I mean, you should watch it because these people are fantastic, and it was really, really, really fun to run and to watch. But in case you just want the TLDR, you can always go and read the episode summaries on our World Anvil, which is linked from the banner on our YouTube page. Good job.
Ew.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for joining. This was a lot of fun for me. I hope you had fun as well. I do have, before we close, one last set of questions for you. So at the end of every session, our characters decide how they have grown or what they have learned. And I'm going to start with tough this time. So you may choose whether you have grown closer to the team, feeling more welcome, more part of the team. If you do that, you will give influence to the character you feel that made you more welcome and part of the team. You may choose to grow into your own image of yourself, and shift one label up and one label down. Or you may feel more detached and you may grow away from the team, and you can take influence over you away from another character. So do you think you grew toward the team, away from the team, or more towards your vision of yourself?
I think I felt a little bit more detached from them this time, just because I was kind of more doing my own thing, and I kind of liked that independence a little bit. So I think I'm kind of starting to feel like I'm drifting a little bit, wanting to go my own path.
Okay, so choose one of the characters that currently have influence over you and take it away. Tilder, did you grow closer to the team, farther away from the team, or more into your image of yourself?
I'm going to go with more into the image of myself. I spent a lot of time doing a lot of research and understanding, searching the interwebs. I feel like that was very much made me feel smarter and quick-witted to provide these answers quickly to my team. So I would increase superior, and I think I would decrease danger, because I wasn't really doing anything particularly strong, and I don't feel like I'm a threat or anything like that. I'm very helpful. I'm a nice robot.
You are strong, but yeah, your instinct is to figure things out, not to hit them. It makes perfect sense. Lala, how about you? Closer to the team, away from the team, or more into your image of yourself?
Oh, sorry, zoned out.
So,
Can you hear me?
yes.
I totally zoned out. Oh my god.
Well, it's only like
I'm so
it's very
sorry.
early in the morning where you
Oh
are.
my god, it's 3 a.m. I just completely zoned out. I was thinking, and then you said my name, and I was listening. And I'm so sorry.
No worries.
I'm so sorry. Oh my god.
So,
okay. I can answer it already. I feel
Good.
further away.
Okay.
So, I'm going to repay what Spectre just did to me.
Oh, all right.
Ooh.
Create some more drama. Beautiful. Okay, Paradigm. Closer to the team, away from the team, or more into your vision of yourself?
I definitely feel like I'm closer to the team. More so, working together. Despite everybody, doing their own thing, we still stop the train together. So I feel a little bit more involved team-wise.
And who do you think made you feel the most welcome, the most like part of the team?
Spectre, naturally.
Okay, great. So you will give influence to Spectre, and you may choose to either clear a condition, which you have one, or mark potential. I would say it makes sense. It makes sense that upon reflection, you're thinking this is a team effort. I actually did my part. And really, it's only because I had the power that Impasse was able to use the power, and it all can't turn out okay. It makes sense to clear the condition guilty.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right, Impasse, closer to the team, away from the team, or more into your vision of yourself?
I would say close to the team, but more so with Paradigm and Tilder, just because we were getting really good information from Tilder. That felt super useful. And then Paradigm, I used her powers. And then after she came to me specifically and gave me that information as well that she knew. So I would say probably Paradigm more so because I was directly working with her.
Perfect. So you will give influence to Paradigm, and you may clear your afraid condition or mark potential. Your choice.
I'll just clear.
Yeah. There's a little potential toggle for those watching. And once you get 5 potential, you get to take an advancement. So adjust some things, take a new move from your playbook. Once you get a certain number of advancements, you can start doing more awesome things like taking adult moves. Whereas, so instead of unleashing your powers, which is somewhat unpredictable, you have the ability to wield your powers, which is just like going Nova, but like very controlled. It gets very cool once you have some of those things. Unless you're some of the playbooks, in which case, as you advance, you get closer to your ultimate demise. And then eventually you go away. But luckily, no one chose that playbook. So again, thanks everyone for joining and for watching and for commenting and for hating on the soups. And including anti-soup sentiment in our story. It's a good addition. It makes perfect sense. And hope that you will all come back and join us again tomorrow for zombies and next week for the continuation of Teen Justice Academy with all of our friends here. And I will remember this time, Tough. You didn't have to remind me. We should probably rate somebody. I wonder who's on. Can you tell?
Yay!
Yes.
Wait, let me do the music. Dun, 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 Teen Justice Academy. Dun, 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 dun. This is the theme tune. Dun, 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 dun. Teen Justice Academy.
Hey, this
There you
year.
go. Dun, 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 dun. They're here to save you.
Perfect.
So not a name.
It works. Hey, Moro or Kelly, I assume Juice is on, right, by now? Because that's probably where we ought to go.
Yes.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, we're going to go right over there. Enjoy. And I know, right? Apologize that we kept some of you. Hopefully you have both tabs open and are tuning back and forth. So I won't get in trouble. But anyway, we will see you back here hopefully tomorrow and next Saturday. And thanks, guys. You were amazing. You came into this never having played this game, and some of you not having played games like this, and did a fantastic job. So I'm very excited to see what kind of shenanigans you get up to next week. Bye.
Bye.
If I can remember, I'm going to clip it on the YouTube there, so it looks like I ended this thing professionally.
Yes, so professional.
Unrecognized channel. Help. Is it space?
Did you type it right? You have to do all the capitals and everything.
Case sensitive.
Yeah.
That's what I did wrong.
Yep, that'll do it. There we go.
Aha.
Yay, our first action.
Don't worry, I'll keep doing the
Boop, 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 ba-doop.
The Team Justice Academy. They don't know. Dun, 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 dun. This is the theme tune. Dun, 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 dun. Team Justice Academy. Dun, we're here to save you.
Awesome. Bye, everybody.
Keep going.
Thanks.
Bye.